already, just FYI. I haven't even started my game yet, but you talked about Hill of Crosses, and I'm just like, I'm gonna forget everything if you linked me that shit.
So that's the link.
Have you found any good like inspiration photos? Because this shit sounds dude. Play some Dark Souls music and like immediately. What the fuck is that? Dude, if there's not a beast like jumping from behind that hill to kick my ass, I'll be severely disappointed. Dude, that is exactly what it looks like. Like, have you seen the introduction to Margit in Elden Ring?
So,
yeah. Like who just fucking jumps from it, from the distance. Like that's what I'm expecting.
Like, look at it. Like this image, which is like.
What? There's so many. I'm sorry. Is there just like a really eclectic collector, or does this have some significance?
I don't know. Yeah, like I'll find out. I don't know. Or it like started as something and then like. I don't know if you can add crosses to it.
It started as a single cross, then people just kept showing up with more of them.
It's like, you know, the bridge with like the padlocks on. It's like that.
What bridge with padlocks? I don't know what you're talking about.
In like France, there's like a bridge, and like what you do is like if you're a couple,
you put
like,
padlocks
write your names.
on it. Oh yeah. No, I remember that. Yeah.
And the bridge was like you're not allowed to do it anymore because it'll break the bridge.
I was like, I feel like trolling the Hill of Crosses and just put a bunch of pinwheels on there, but they like sort of look like crosses just to like fuck with people.
Yeah.
It's a very mild form of trolling, but at the same time, like. If you actually care about this shit, that would get really annoying real fast.
Does sound like a Dark Souls. It's like fucking Hill of Three Crosses, Hill of Crosses.
Yeah.
Like Museum of Illusions, Old Town, Gates of Dawn.
I'm not sure the KGB museum would be in
Castle Tower.
Yeah. It's like, man, they really jumped the shark recently.
Bernardine Gardens.
The fuck you call me?
Money Museum?
Shit, sorry, give me a second. What the hell is associated? God damn it. I hate the fact that I talk to random people and suddenly turns into a quest. Sorry, give me a second. I've talked to this person like 100 times. I've been missing in the desert for a while now. He's hoping that a highly experienced adventurer, he could be talking about me, would take on this commission and current status of his sumpter beast. I don't care about this fucking beast. So a commission like this should be a cinch for you, right? Yeah. Missing in the desert? That certainly would be worrying. Let's go take a look. Sure. Let me accept the fucking quest. Stop talking. His name is Boniface. What kind of name is that? He's still in our village. Yeah, I just came from there. Good thing you're giving me the quest now. You can fill in on the specifics. Safe travels, you too. Yeah, fuck off. Give me... thank you. How the hell did this result in anything? I don't know. Sorry, you were saying?
Hang on. It sounds like a Dark Souls place. There's a money museum.
I like how Dark Souls shit is like so recognizable that you just say Dark Souls and everyone knows exactly what the fuck you mean.
Yeah. Amber Museum.
Amber Alert?
No, like insects in amber sort of thing.
Oh, so not people who's been kidnapped kept in a museum?
Well, unless they put someone in like a fucking like they've frozen someone in tree sap or something.
This is the fucking caveman there. It's like, I've been here for ages, please.
Toy museum.
What kind of toys?
Sex toys as well. Yeah.
I knew it, yeah.
All toys. So you have like you walk through it and it's like, oh yeah, like this section is kids' toys, and then it's like teenage toys.
It's like the kids' toys are just like smaller sex dolls. Oh god, why did I say that?
Now look at 7 of the very best things to do. I'm looking at the top 7 things now to do in Vilnius. Nice.
Top 7 things to do. Just it sounds so desperate inherently. It's funny to me.
Yeah.
Top
19 are great.
What?
Okay, I'm trying to get us what Church
Hill? Winston?
8 of Dawn.
Who, me?
Wouldn't gliding be faster?
Poetry Street.
Wait, I don't know what the implication is there. Is that where poets go, or is the poems literally written on the street? Like, is it Dark Souls boss again? For some reason, I'm imagining like, what the hell was that game again? Like Def Jam Vendetta? Like suddenly it's a boss fight with a fucking rapper.
Like off the main street, filled with little
Off the main,
plaques
on the
to
main.
honor Lithuanian poets. They have in the museum, one of the museums, they have the first Lithuanian book. Only 3
Cool.
copies in the world. Interesting. Street art, castle, tower.
Street
island,
red,
castle,
I don't want that.
hop, botanical gardens. We've already got there.
Boy, gotta be so botanical, bro.
Ride in an army tank,
What?
and they take you all the way to the border and you join the fight.
Yes, as you do.
Like KGB prison headquarters.
I love the prison headquarters. Great way to spend.
Cathedral.
What do you say, Deidre?
The cathedral.
Uh-huh.
Think you can get away? Wouldn't gliding.
A lot of the same things. Towers.
Just like we
Old
did.
town.
Rust, rebuild. Brace yourselves.
The Constitution of. That's interesting.
Constitution of Man.
It's like a constitution is like first one. Everyone has the right to live by the river.
Okay, that's been an issue in the past, has it? Isaac, why are you spoiling yourself? Save it for the adventure.
Yeah, I should.
You just show up. You show up and you know about all the history and fucking introduce your girlfriend to her home country.
But like, I'm wondering. I don't know if she even like lives her like families in the capital. So I like when we've done things before, she never like plans anything. It's not like. It's more like looking up shit on the way there, and it's like. So I'm wondering how much she's actually like been in there, like the capital. So she might just be like to me, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Okay, great. I have to like."
I wish I just like had the guts to like basically just ask people local like what makes this place interesting and shit like that. Like I told you about how like that's basically what I want to do by itself. Like when we travel, I just want to talk to the local people and to get like an understanding of the place, because I feel like how to put this, these people are living history technically. Like they will be affected by everything that's happened up until that point, unless they're immigrants, I guess. And even then. Isaac, why would you travel?
Interesting.
But why?
New experience. Experiences outside what you can predict. Like I might get drafted into the Lithuanian army or something, you know. Protect the motherland.
That'd be interesting if they have laws where they can drag anyone off the streets, even if they're a fucking tourist and belong to another country. It's like, sorry, them's the breaks. You should have known that before you came here. It's like, shit, I got no arguments.
It's like all the instructions are in Lithuanian, so I'm like, huh, what?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like they have laws, you just can't know what they are because they're in like some fucking weird obscure language.
Yeah.
The ultimate out. There's no escape.
Well, she'll be my translator, so. Maybe.
She.
It. Yeah, she. I don't know. Why not? Someone invites you somewhere. Even if it is Lithuania, you can go.
Yeah, they'll be happy with hearing you're coming. Even fucking Lithuania. Even the even part is fucking brutal.
Time for takeoff.
Even fucking like, Lithuania.
Like the last time we spoke, it was just kind of like. So like we were talking about I was like, oh, do you want to come over to my place? You know,
Uh-huh.
just hang out at mine again and whatever. She's like, yeah, that sounds good. Like,
Do you
possibly.
want to hang out at my place? What a fucking archetypical line.
Yeah. That's because like, we kept going to her, so I was like, do you want to come over and what? It's like stay at mine or what?
I'll come over on your face.
She's like, yeah, possibly. And then now it's like, it's jumped from us like, I'm like, do you want to come to my house? And then she's like, do you want to go to Lithuania?
And
That's a big jump.
escalated fast.
Yeah. Well, our third date was like a weekend trip, so I guess it's not.
Do you want to meet my mother? Land.
Yeah, that's, I'm thinking that. I'm like wondering what the like, because she's going there
Isaac,
basically to see her
careful.
family.
This might be like you came to the wrong neighborhood type of situation. This is like the world's biggest alleyway for you to get choked.
Yeah. It's like she's trying
Their
to.
entire family shows up, beats the shit out of you, takes your money. It's like,
It's like I'm like the fake boyfriend. You know, she's like, oh yeah, like this is my boyfriend.
Think you can get away?
Like, this is my, fiance. You know what I mean? Just like,
oh, she's using you as a cover or something.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know. She said to me about like she doesn't get along that well with like her sister, and then
This is so
she
Sounds like a
didn't-
her problem.
Yeah, like she used to argue with her mum and stuff. I don't know.
I mean,
Like, I don't know anything
I say
about
that
them.
as a joke. Like, some people had good reason to. So.
Yeah, that's me. So. I doubt she'd
Oh,
be
yeah,
like,
I
let's
think
go to my parents' house.
I don't think I told you about this, but like, I had a situation where I realized like this probably damaged my relationship with my brother more than I think either of us realized. Like, it was a fairly simple situation, but like, it's how he treated it that became the issue. Like, it was a fairly trivial matter, but the fact that he just like took another person's narrative and rolled with it and never asked me what happens was just like, this is your fucking protocol. So like, my cousin, who's like an entire generation younger than me, like said that I did something
my royal
like basically to try and get it out of a situation because she was
Yahoo!
like annoying the shit out of me. And instead of like admitting to what happened, she of course just says whatever the fuck she can in order to get out of it. And then my brother's just like taking her word for it. I'm like, what the fuck? This makes no sense. Like,
So,
I don't
that's-
care who you are. Like, you don't do that no matter what the situation is in my eyes.
Yeah, like there's this in like one of the class that I teach. It's like there's like kids in it, and then there's one. He's like, she's like super like lying, like constantly, like
Oh, pathologically.
yeah, in the sense of like, she's just like walking around the classroom, like go sit down, and she's like, oh, the teacher told me to do this. I'm like, no, she didn't. And then so I get to sit down, and then it's like, why? I'm like, every time she's like, oh yeah, she also tried to lie to me. It's like, oh sir, like you need to,
Give me a moment
the
to
teacher
compose
said you
myself.
need to like write that I'm like a good,
Trainee
I'm
force
like
agent
good
Kai
on this piece of
reporting.
paper because like my dad needs to see that I'm like good in school. And it's like really weird. It's kind of like, I don't know.
Please.
Never want to trade.
Yeah, it's like, but then I feel kind of like bad for her almost because it's like,
Yeah, there's probably a reason why she acts that way.
yeah,
Like lack of getting attention or just like
Yeah.
a competitive home life where
Yeah.
like you have to compete for attention and shit like that. But like
Yeah.
the straight up lying part, I don't know.
it's like constant. It's just like everything. Like whenever I'm like, why are you doing this? Or like, why did you not do what you're told? She's like, the other teacher told me, like this reason. The other person, like, I was told to do this. This is what I did. Like yesterday, the teacher said, like,
Yeah, there's always a different reason.
yeah, it's just infinite, and it's just like, it's
You
like
probably
some
get
of
tired
it,
of it real fast.
it's almost like, but then it's like she gets better at it, or like
Better at lying? What do you mean?
yeah, or like some of them are like believable, or like kind of.
And then you start second guessing yourself.
Yeah, there's like no way I've noticed. Like, she's like collecting books, like because they have little like some people like the teacher might tell, okay, you go collect the books from the tables or something.
Yeah.
So like, she's standing up, walking around, and then it's like she's not collecting the books. But as soon as I go to her, it's like, oh, Miss told me to collect the books, right? And it's like,
And they have to give her the stink eye and go.
no, just sit down. And say, oh, this is like, oh, I want to help. Like she's just super like.
Helpful.
But like it's because of her attention. She's like she can't sit still.
Yeah.
She just has to be like doing something.
Hmm.
But then as soon as there's a thing like,
And when do you
oh,
start slapping her around?
it's just like as soon as like the teacher's like asking questions, like so at the front of the class, she's like, who knows the answer to that? She's like, puts her hand up. You know what I mean? She's like,
Doesn't
that's
have a
why I
clue,
think
but
she
she'll
wants
still
attention. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like, she needs that like
validation.
something to like follow or like pay attention to or like keep her.
Well, and how do I put this? Like, I'm assuming she actually. I wonder if she reached the point where she doesn't even care if it's negative. Like, attention is good no matter what. That's like the start of narcissism.
But then she'll so say I'm like standing next to her. I'm like, let's go sit down, and she's like, no, I need to do this. Like, no, you just like go sit down, and she'll like not move. She like won't do it. She'll just sort of stare at the floor and kind of mumble, and I'm like, I have to kind of like what do you call it? Like shepherd her to her chair and like actually get her to sit on it.
You have to one-handed choke them.
And it's like, and she has this weird thing that she does where like she goes to a chair, right? But I'm telling her, go sit down. So she'll go to where she's sitting, but she'll like push her chair in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she can't sit down. But then what she'll do is she'll start pushing it in almost so it's in, but then she'll like sit sideways. So that she can just
she's
like
just making as much trouble as possible for
like,
no
but then
goddamn
no,
reason.
it's like she sits in a way where it's like the least amount of contact on the chair as possible. So she's like, as soon as you're not looking, she can just get up again, like straight away.
Let's play.
And it's like,
Is it what, she's barely got her ass in the chair or something?
but like she'll push it in, and then because what she's doing is it's like she's pushing the chair in first because that means that there's less space on the chair, right? So it means that she can sit, like she kind of sits on her knees, like that.
Okay.
So she's sort of half, but like what she's doing, she's like using it almost like an excuse. Like I'm telling her, you sit on the chair, but she's like, oh, I can't sit on the chair because it's too close to the table, right? I can't get in to the chair because it's too close to the table. But like you're the one who put it there. And so I have to I can't just tell her sit down. I have to sit properly on the chair, like sit with both legs on. You know what I mean? Like every iteration of like sit down.
You have to fucking micromanage her and live her life for her and the teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And it'll just be like, the teacher's like, okay, new task, and then they're doing it, and then like turn away for a split second. She's just like,
yeah.
Or she rushes her work so she can get up and walk around. And then like loads of her work will be wrong. She just like she treats
that's surprising.
She treats the work as like something to do, not like to do the work. She doesn't try and do the work. She's just like, there's 5 spaces because there's 5 questions, so she'll just kind of do the answers and then like walk around. So the answers might be completely nothing, like wrong.
Now what's wrong
like,
with that?
it's just like so strange.
And there's pretty much nothing you can do. Like, you're not allowed to get involved at a level where you can make a difference. It's just like you just have to hope that.
A valiant
And
endeavor.
it isn't even that. Like, you could probably intervene in a level where you can like make a difference, but because of liability issues, is like
Yeah.
you probably straight up aren't allowed.
So it's just kind of
Annoying.
yeah, and like you see it with like some of them where
Some of them.
some of the kids, it's like they don't understand things but they don't want to. They don't want to appear like stupid. So like they.
So that just makes it up.
Yeah, or they kind of
I mean,
always trying not to do work because they don't want to face the fact that they can't do it.
Time for takeoff.
oh, I'm sorry. What kind of school is you?
I don't know. It's like it's the normal school. It's just kind of they don't try. It's like if I sit with them for like 10 minutes and like go through it with them and sort of explain like.
Okay, is it in like a poor district or?
Not really. It's just I think it's more like class sizes and the age they are. It's like
Okay.
there's a lot of like varying
Oh yeah,
ability, but
yeah,
even
like they're basically only just started school, like 6
yeah,
and
they're
7.
like seven.
Yeah.
They're like 7 years
Yeah.
old. So.
Okay. Well. Yeah, that shit's gonna be hard by default too.
And it's like even the ones that are like good and do all the work, it's like
Uh-huh.
they have similar issues of like
I will have order.
not issue. It's not an issue. It's just they're young. But it's like they have the same sort of lack of attention span.
Yeah.
Like
But that is an issue. Like it's not unfair to call that an issue.
but it's not. I don't expect it like they're little kids. So it's like I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
expecting
but
like perfect silence and like you know.
yeah,
everything.
sure,
It's
but
just-
like them paying attention is what you're hoping for. It's sort of like the point of having classes in the first place. Like if nobody pays attention, like getting anywhere with it.
It was on like Friday. Like the last time I saw them, I was doing like art, and so I was like doing. I like showed them some of my drawings, like the cartoony ones I've done of like Adventure
Oh,
Time.
that's what you
and,
talked
like-
about last time, or no?
Yeah. Well, like you know, like I showed them some of my like Instagram posts, where I did like the things I've made, like the Disney characters and,
And that day you
SpongeBob.
gained 1 million followers.
No, and it's just, but it's funny, like, I showed them one.
You're abusing your power, Isaac. You can't do that.
Yeah. They're all like, "Whoa!" and then it's like SpongeBob, and they're like, "Whoa!"
And SpongeBob is like, whoa.
SpongeBob got the biggest like cheer. I don't know what the word cheer is the word. Like excitement. But then, well, then what I did is I drew
Guffaws.
like, so they had a picture of Finn that I drew from Adventure Time, and they kind of like did their own versions of it, and then I drew some of like Finn's expressions on the whiteboard, his like crazy faces that he does. When you see in Adventure Time, he has these like crazy, like over the top expressions.
For some reason, I don't associate him with crazy expressions.
You do like there's like like he does some sort of one-off faces and things that are just like nuts.
Yeah, but like the sort of crazy, like the thing I associate with crazy faces are like when they go into hyper-realistic detail and just give them like these.
Well, they kind of do that a bit because the Finn is like his normal face is just 2 dots and a smile, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But then they go to
But I
like
know-
full on.
I guess you'll just have to show me your Instagram, Isaac, and make
No,
a
but
bunch
that's-
of
no.
fans.
They're
No.
not. I don't have the expressions on my Instagram, so like.
Yeah, well, that's where you fucked up, Isaac.
I just have a drawing of him on there. Where is so like this picture.
They better not be nudes. Okay, let's have a look. PC, please don't crash. What is it? Yeah, but like, okay, this is what I mean. Like, his face is so like basic from the beginning that they don't look that different to me. Oh yeah, he. Oh
Maybe
yeah,
the
that
teeth.
screaming face. Yeah.
So like I drew some of them on the board, and then like okay, they tried to draw them, and then I drew Jake on the board, and they're like, oh Jake, and I like, tried to draw him.
Jake, I hardly knew her.
It's like they don't know Adventure Time, so they're just like, oh, that's a cool dog.
It's like, it's not a dog, his name's Jake. You start taking it really personally.
Well,
It's
I
a really
wrote
good show. I
Jake
can't
next
believe
to
you
his
don't
name.
watch it. It's so fucking funny if you did shit like
Yeah.
that. You just started taking things really personal and like acting like a goddamn kid. Like the most
don't know who
immature
Jake is?
person in the room, yeah.
You're a loser. I'm not playing with you at break.
Now give me your lunch money. Just
Yeah.
turn into the school bully.
It's so funny seeing them like eat their lunch. Like They'd like
I
throw.
didn't know where that was going. I thought you were like about to say like eat their boogers or some shit.
Like, it's weird. They kind of don't eat. But like, it's the amount of
They
food
don't
they
eat
get.
like humans. Yeah.
Like, it's very small because they're like little kids, right? So they get like, for example, they get like a chicken drumstick and some rice and some vegetables, and then like a scoop of ice cream, right?
That's way better than I do.
But then it's like they'll eat half
Or
of that,
did.
and they just like
don't-
throw
Oh,
away
my
some.
sword.
Okay. I'm sorry, I just realized I don't know why the hell I put that in present tense, as if I still get my goddamn lunch bag or something.
It's basically, and then they waste so much, and I'm just like, I look at them, it's like, I'm like, how can you not finish that? I'm like, I could eat 10 drumsticks in like a minute.
Oh,
I'm like comparing myself to them. I'm like, you fucking losers.
I don't know. Like,
Fucking eat.
how to put this? Like, okay, but how much do you pay attention? Because if they're anything like my nieces, like they might eat like an okay amount at once, but then it's like 20 minutes go by. It's like, oh, never mind. I can still eat, and I just like eat something else.
No, but it's like, because what I do is like,
Watch them like a hawk.
they do, no, they have like different sittings, like, you know, like years 1 and 2 go, and then they rotate, and year 3 and 4 go. Well, so like, they only have about, how long do they have? Like 20 minutes to eat, right?
Okay.
So like, I'm there, like I see them all like
I
put
see
their like,
all.
yeah, well, like I see them all like put their trays back when they finished. So like I see how much all of them are eating.
Okay.
So like when they
Beautiful.
finish, like most of them just throw loads of it away.
Okay.
Yeah, but they get like fucking nothing. So it just seems weird to me. It's like not finishing your plate and like not wanting to eat food and feeling hungry.
I'm sorry, you're telling me you're confused by the concept of satiation. Was that what you just
Yeah.
described?
Yeah.
What,
I'm
not
like, oh,
feeling hungry?
I'm like, oh, what have you got for lunch today? And I'm like, oh, I've got like 2 slices of pizza, like, and some, I don't know, fruit or something. From like packed lunch. From like they had, like they ordered a pizza yesterday with their family, and there's like leftovers.
Sure.
And so like they got 2 slices, and he's like, 15 minutes, he's like eating 1 in a bit. And I'm like, I eat 2 large pizzas on my own in like an hour.
The more
It's
the
like,
merrier.
well, less
First
than that.
round's on me.
I just don't get it. Like, they're not. It's not like, I feel like I eat 10 times more food than them, but I'm not like 10 times their size. Which is just kind
Isaac, you got issues, okay? This is a you problem, not a them problem.
of. Yeah.
Power that isn't fight.
Gather.
Then also like they have like break time. They have like this one
Lucky
which, like
bastards.
crap. They like have they have different sort of like toys and or like sports equipment they can play with, like footballs, basketballs.
Sure.
But they've got like one shitty little frisbee that's like half broken. But it's like one of those ring frisbees. And like, because
Oh.
I'm really good at frisbee and I really like frisbee, I'm like teaching them all how
What
to
a
throw
thing to be
properly.
good at.
Yeah. I'm really good.
I'm the Great Britain Frisbee champion.
Yeah. But it's like, so what is this, like we set cones up and they can try and like throw the frisbee so it lands on the cone.
Wow.
And like, I'm like teaching them, okay, you stand here. Like, I'm teaching them like a method to throw. And like,
Off we go.
one of them does it and then like, they almost get it on the hoop and they're like, whoa. And then all the other kids are like, I want to learn to throw good. And then like, you kind of,
I hope they phrased that exactly like that. Me wanna throw. Just
Yeah.
talk like a goddamn tiny
you
caveman.
have like 2 little kids like, because no one uses the frisbee, they're like, I mean, they want to play football or whatever. So like, there's 2 of them and like showing them, and then they're getting it, and then like one kid's like, oh wow, they're good. I want to do it now, and then like this whole big group, it starts becoming like 6, 7, 8, 9 kids all wanting to like try.
I'm sorry. I just imagine you like getting like crowded by kids, and you just start panicking.
Get off me.
It's just it starts coming closer. You just see like hands like jumping up to grab the frisbee, and just start freaking screaming.
It's like there's all the little like boys and I was like fighting all the time and arguing. But then like, one of them is
Boys are like so goddamn combative.
yeah, like literally like swinging and grabbing and like throwing each other on the floor.
Christ, what?
But then it's like one of them is like I'm trying to like what I do is like joke around with them or like make myself their target against so like they don't fight each other. They're focused on like I don't know arguing with me or like playing games and stuff. And like so I'm trying to be
You're
like
telling me you're picking fights with children. That's what you're telling me.
no, not picking fight. It's like
I'm sorry, that sounds an awful lot like what you were saying.
I'm like making myself the bad guy.
There you go.
So,
By picking
so
fights
they-
with them.
Think
No,
you
it's
can
just
get
sort of
away?
like telling them like don't
No,
fight anything. So
as
like
a joke, it's very funny. You have to believe me.
yeah. I joked with one like joking around with them and then one of them is always like fighting and stuff. I like pick him up and then start walking towards the bin and then say I'm gonna put him in the bin.
I actually do the same shit with my niece.
Yeah. And then I just put him down and it's like but he's like, yeah, I wanna go in the bin. I'm like, oh god, that doesn't work.
And no, then I do it, but you say one of the other kids did it.
And then the other kids come up to me, it's like, sir, can you please put him in the bin?
Bin him some more.
It's like put him in the bin, he's annoying. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude, I actually have the same problem where like I make threats as jokes and they're just like, no, this sounds fun. I'm like, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds so goddamn familiar. That's funny.
Like I did like trying there's like a PE lesson and it's like warm-ups and stuff and like
There's P lessons.
I play like what I did is I play a version of like the first game in Squid Game where it's like
Oh,
they have to
okay.
get like red light, green light.
Time for takeoff.
Okay.
And
How
it's like
dead were they by the end? Just
no,
FYI.
it's like
I will have
they
No, they're dead. I like sincerely you said that.
I'm doing a thing. I'm trying to something new again.
Trust me. Okay, they were live. Okay, I saw them.
If they
Here we go.
yeah, because what they do is like if they get caught if like moving. If
Yeah.
like if I send them all the way back to the beginning, it's like unfair. Like they're never gonna win.
Okay.
So I tell them like, okay, like 2 steps back or something. You have to like take 2 steps back. Like if you get caught, so they're still in the game, so it's like inclusive. It's not like you have to sit out. Right? And they just
inclusive according to you.
because like if they get out, they're just gonna like stand somewhere else and just go crazy and run around and fight each other. So it's like I'm not keeping their attention, right? But like what I'm gonna do is
Are they actually that antagonist that they just start fighting the second you turn around?
like as soon as you like say there's like 3 boys that like they're sort of friends or whatever, like
Brace yourself.
they'll just start grabbing each other and just sort of running off, or like one of them just run off, the other will chase him just for no reason, and he'll fall over, and then
Somebody
the
starts
other will
crying.
like just jump on him, and then it's like, oh, I'm hurt, and yeah, it's just crazy. But what I'm gonna try and do to them is like, if you get caught, it's like you have to go on one leg, or like put like both hands behind your back, as if I'm like shooting their limbs off,
Here we go.
like on Squid Game. To make it even more like dangerous and fucking.
I was like,
Squid Game-ish.
you're doing basically the things that I recommend people who like are having kids do. Like, make it fun for you.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, you have to take 2 steps back, and now you can only use one leg, so you have to like hop,
Time for takeoff.
and it's like,
But
oh,
of course,
God.
it makes perfect sense.
No, my
But then it's like
sword.
I can't see them when I'm like turned around or whatever when I cover
Do you
my
have
eyes.
to? I need to see the whites of their eyes before I can shoot.
I do to make it like a bit more fun. But what I do is I make it more intense. I don't just do like red light, green light, whatever. I'm like doing the alphabet. So
Okay.
like if it gets to Z, then
You're
like no
dead.
one's won. Like yeah, all the others die, right? Or I don't know, like fall over us. But then
If I
also
get to
because it's
C, you must say we.
and then like I mess with them, so I'm like I start with like A, B, C, D, and then I open my eyes. But then the next I'll be like H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, like go really, really fast.
Yeah, make them
And I'm like,
panic.
oh shit! And so yeah, and it's like, oh, you've only got
Stabilize.
5 letters left.
Isaac, you're like an expert using all my moves.
Haha.
That's such stupid phrasing.
But then what you get is like, as soon as I like stop, they're like, okay, they have to stop. They'll be like, so he's cheating. Like, he moved,
Please.
and like he didn't go back, and then
Yeah,
they're
they're
all
all
just
fighting.
like,
You can get away.
like he was running, and yeah.
Of course, they want to win, so they start lying.
Then what I was thinking of doing is splitting it like into teams. So like, you have, say there's like 6 of them on a team. They all try and win, and then it's like, if you get, say like 3 of them get out, the 3 of them make it, then those 3 go to like the next round, and then it's like the others can like cheer on their team, sort of thing. So it's-
Okay, is it sort of like dodgeball rules? Can they get back in?
No, I don't know yet. It's just more like making it more organized. It's not just like 30 kids all just like running and
I bet-
arguing, and yelling at each other. And like, it's
just
hard for
waiting-
me to keep track of them all.
I'm just waiting for this one nerd kid to push up their glasses and walk up to you to go like, "You're just making this shit up as you go," and just go, "Yeah, sit down, nerd."
Yeah. Rules have changed.
Yeah, the rule now is that I get to punch you in your stupid face.
I need to get like a
I
Nerf
think
gun.
it's funny that you just start acting like a fucking bully.
I should bring a Nerf gun in and just like shoot them.
You've seen that goddamn video of the dad who just like slits his kid's throat and she
Yeah,
just sits
just crying. Yeah, she's already crying and he like slits her throat.
Yeah, it's so goddamn funny.
Just like she still falls down though, so she's still like, no, she's dead. So
Gather.
The fucking howling she does and the dad doesn't give a shit. Oh god, it's so funny. Oh. Oh. Like, are you supposed to have sympathy for every kid? I don't know.
maybe, yeah, like because even if it's like they're lying or like fighting, it's more like it's not it's their fault, but it's like what I mean, they have to be taught things and they're still
Yeah,
like
yeah,
not,
but sometimes they're being dramatic. It seems like it's entirely for attention, or like they're getting like angry about something really trivial.
Yeah. Like,
And
there's
apparently,
one,
sometimes the protocol is that you're not supposed to give them any attention. Like you're actually supposed to just ignore them, otherwise, like it reinforces the behavior. So I don't know.
it's like we're in the class and then one girl, she's just like starts crying. I'm like, fuck. But like, and then I go, like, what's wrong? Are you alright? And she's just like, oh, sometimes I just get emotional. But she's like full on crying as if someone's like slapped her in the face.
That's my response though. I was like, oh, so sorry. Sometimes I just get emotional.
Yeah. Like, and then, but she's like one of the like good, like higher up, like what's it like
She's
advanced.
one of the good ones.
She's like she does all the work and gets the right answers, and she's smart. I
Oh,
guess.
she's a good student.
Yeah. And so like it's odd. It just seemed out of character because you just kind of just like started crying. But then like her response was really weird. Like how you thought it was really weird. It's like sometimes I just get emotional. So it's like
Sounds a little scripted. That sounds like her parents have told her to say that. I don't know.
it's like,
That's almost
it
worrying
didn't
to me.
sound like an excuse.
Genuine.
I wonder how many.
Right?
Oh.
It's like it just felt like
That is what it
like,
is. She.
Because it didn't sound like, I don't feel like she just wouldn't tell me something, you know what I mean? Because she's told me like, oh, this person took my pencil and this person called me this name or something. And so it's like, it's not like she's,
One of the students called
not-
me the N-word. You're just, Jesus.
it's not like she doesn't want to tattle on the others. It's like, it just seemed really strange.
I mean, it could be that it's like exactly what she says. Like it is what it is on its face, but like that response just sounds so like it could be. Okay, how to put this? I
doesn't
see
know what
two
caused it.
options. Like, one of them is that she behaves like this. There's nothing to it, and her parents just like have had this interaction with her before, and just have told, or like they've had to explain it for her. So now she's just picked up their response, or.
Rain outlines
There's
your fate.
issues and they show up every now and then, and she's told that this is what she has to say. One of them is a little more concerning than the other. but I've got nothing to base this on, so this is a baseless accusation, so I should keep this shit to myself.
Yeah.
It's just that is a weird response. That sounds so scripted.
Yeah, and like she's like 7 years old. And it's like
Sorry,
But
sometimes
she's
I just get
just like-
emotional. Not
she was crying.
Sometimes I just feel like doing the boohoo's. It's like, that's the sort of shit I expect to hear.
yeah, it's like the amount she's crying. It's like you'd think she wouldn't be like coherent in a sense. Like she'd kind of
Yeah.
be like sobbing, like like. But she was
And
just
then
like
she turns it off immediately. Just
she's just kind of. She takes a while to reply to me. Like she doesn't just say it straight away. She's like, I ask her like 2 or 3 times. And then she just goes like, sometimes I get emotional. So it's almost like she doesn't understand why she's upset. She's just like is.
I mean, I've heard of kids who just like start crying over really stupid things. So it's just like, okay, I guess this is just how
Usually
they
they can like verbalize why. They're like, oh, I wanted to use the red spoon, not the blue spoon, or something. You know, some
Yeah,
stupid
but it
shit.
could be that
It's like,
she's like, it could be that she just like has done it so many times that she like she knows she doesn't have a good reason, that she has that level of awareness. But like, yeah, like I've had like my niece like cry at really funny shit where I was like, oh, why are you crying? It's like, oh, the fell down. That's so sad. I'm like, oh.
yeah.
It's really stupid, but she's not being. I was like, oh, sorry, mate. Sometimes you just get a little bit emotional, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Bit weird.
I think it's cute. It's funny.
And you get like,
Sorry, I just get emotional sometimes.
it's just so. Like, I'm like, how old are you? You're like a fucking adult or something, you know? It's like,
She's
It's
been
like,
reincarnated.
yeah, it's like what the fuck. Just like that was the
That's
last thing
why
I'd
she's
expect.
getting emotional. She's just like, I remember my past life.
Yeah. So that's the last response. I'm like, oh, someone hit me, or I've got something in my eye. Or, But she's like emotionally intelligent at 7 or something. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck. Hmm.
I mean, again, like some kids just like I don't know. Some kids are weird.
I'm still not good at like raising my voice or like yelling or like being at the like commanding the classroom in a sense. I can't do that really.
Yeah, me neither. Like I don't like raising my voice at all. Oh
Yeah.
shit! Oh shit! There's. Oh no! There was a baby fox. He ran away.
But then also because it's like I can't like the teacher has to be maintained like as being the authority, so I can't.
So you can't intervene and like take authority.
Yeah, I can't sort of.
Yeah, that's part of the shit I meant about the liability shit. Like you can't just do what you want
Differentiate,
to, even though like you might have ideas about what might be good for the kids, but it doesn't mean like you have the right to intervene. Like you'll end up in trouble as a result of that, which is
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like
frustrating
rules and
sometimes.
regulations and training and da da da.
And to be fair, some of that shit is there for very good reason. But sometimes, like, people put in laws or regulations that, how to phrase this? That
Bullshit.
are there to, like, prevent as much harm as possible, but they don't realize that they also prevent good things at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like you're hindering you being able to help certain kids in certain ways just because you're not allowed to. But like I have a very weird perspective
ever
compared to a
wanna
lot of
trade
other
tactics,
people
I'm always
when
ready.
it comes to like parents and raising kids and like social structures and shit like that. Because like in today's society, it's very much like this is my kid, I'm gonna raise it. But like that doesn't make any fucking kind of sense. Everybody's gonna have to deal with your kid at some point. Everybody's gonna like,
Yeah.
and you can't isolate your kid in a way where other people don't have to suffer the consequences even while they're a kid.
Yeah.
So like everybody has to deal with them. Basically everybody has an investment at the of the outcome of these kids. So not being able to do anything to like affect them doesn't make sense. Like the best thing you can do or make sure happens is that if somebody does something bad, like says something wrong or something that is like arguably raising the child wrong, you just have somebody that can like intervene.
I think the main issue, like the real issue I'd say with like
Quake.
school and that is
The
size of-
that in it.
yeah, like the size of the classes.
Okay.
Like one teacher for 30 children.
30 kilobytes of children.
Yeah, 30 kilowatts. Yeah, it's like there's not enough. She doesn't like. You can't keep
You
an eye
can't.
on them all and like manage them all, or like keeping them on track, and like the scale is just so big. It's like it becomes unmanageable. So you start having to be like,
That's too much child.
yeah, it's just a bit messy. Like,
Solidify.
Yeah, that's
Just
a pretty good description of kids in general. It's just a
but
bit
then
messy.
like it makes it so like. I wonder why. Like I want to know what the reasons are. Like
For what?
Time for
like
takeoff.
the size, the class sizes, like.
Brace yourselves.
Because, like, I feel like maybe there's a reason.
And all the more valuable.
Like, it just seems tough on the teacher I work with. That it's like she gets kind of stressed in a way where it's like
Go.
she'll say you're going around the classroom checking on each kid's work, right? It's like it might take you half an hour, right? It's like a minute with each kid, and it's like the last kid was confused from the beginning, so they haven't done anything. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and then there's all the information that you might have to convey to a single kid just to.
yeah, and it's
Like
like,
you
then
can-
you're like, she's like, why haven't you done any work? And it's like, you see sometimes it's like, some kids generally don't understand, so I'm just like, get distracted, or like, so they're not
Just
kept on
I-
task because
ta-
the teacher's busy.
I don't think I've told you about my home life and my relationship to school. Like that shit was really weird to me, but I only understand that in retrospect. Where, like, all the goddamn time I would,
Osmanthus wine.
because like we just had a dysfunctional protocol in my house where, like, the teacher would send papers with me, and it's like, oh, you need to hand this to your parents, right? I never kept that shit in mind. So like there's these fucking like month-old letters for meetings that they should have attended like a week ago, and like the stacks of homework where I'm just like, oh yeah, but I don't do this. And apparently like all this shit happened because
Yeah.
my mother was like, oh, I don't want to pressure them with like schoolwork and shit like that. I was like, you think I'm gonna do this without any prompting? Are you insane?
Yeah, yeah. You just do what you can get away with, and it's like you kind of.
No, it wasn't even that. Like, I wouldn't even mind doing it. It's just like I never kept it in mind.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't care enough. So like I developed fucking horrible habits because of that shit.
Yeah. Like I remember, I don't really remember doing homework, or like when I did, it'd be like I'd either do it in the lesson or like in 5 minutes before, like in like right at the start of the lesson. You know what I mean? Like just rush through it,
Yeah.
like because I don't want to get in trouble. Or it's like, say I know I have homework for like
oh my
maths,
fucking God.
but that's like after English. So in English, I'll do my maths homework.
I remember getting really frustrated with stories of my brother like getting away with the shit that I couldn't. Or like, how to put this? Me, like, how to put this? Like, it's obvious. It was obvious to everyone that like my English was just like insanely good for like my level, like all my peers. So like, if you wanted to like get something translated, you like went to me. If you had like a question, you just went to me. Like, it's like clearly, like I basically knew the most. Like, even fucking teachers would like come to me with the shit they were confused about sometimes, right? It's like clearly, I was at like a certain level, and yet somehow brother got a fucking higher grade than me. That like it's just made me fume. Like,
Yeah.
like I think I even helped him with like the thing he got a higher grade than me on. It's like how how is the system so bad that like it can't like how do I put this like reveal my level of competence? I don't even know how to fucking phrase this. I'm fucking flustered.
Like, it's interesting to see that, like, because you get stuff in the classroom where, like, kids copying others. So, like,
Oh yeah.
there's one that's like the teacher kind of figured, or like they do, I think every week or something, they do like a kind of they do like a little test in the subjects, right? So she's like, okay, here's your maths test, like 10 questions, everyone has to answer it. Like, you're not allowed to ask like me or the teacher for help, or we can read the question to you, but we can't like teach you how to figure it out or anything. The point of it is to see if you've comprehended the other lessons, right?
I fucking didn't understand.
So
Repeat it.
there's like regular tests where the kids aren't supposed to get any help to see if they've actually like learned what to do from the lessons. And like,
Sure.
I'm not supposed to help them explain it. They're supposed to like see if they've actually learned the thing, or they just don't know how to do it.
Taking it.
Yeah. So like,
Till they're making it.
one kid is like, she gets like second, like the highest mark in the class, or, like one of the highest, and then because she just copied them all from the person next to her, and then it's like the teacher sits her like on her own, and then makes her do the test again.
And
it's
suddenly
like-
her grade plummets.
Like, she can't do it. She can do like one question. It's like, so when she hasn't been like learning at all because she's just found the way of like just copy.
Yeah.
So
Think
that
you can get away?
when she was supposed to be learning, she was just doing nothing and then like, just copying it. So she got like trapped in the situation where things are too advanced because she didn't learn. So she just keeps having to copy because otherwise she can't do anything. But then it's like, I don't feel as if it gets addressed. Like, she's behind, but there's no.
There's like no
plan.
recourse. You just know that she
Yeah.
cheats, but like, how do you explain to? I'm assuming she's like 6 or 7. That
Yeah.
you're not supposed to do that.
Like, you're like, it's bad
But
for you
she's-
to cheat.
I was like, but that is so fucking old to start that shit. Jesus Christ. How do you already have that habit? How do you already have the instinct like, oh, I can get away with cheating? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like copying answers or something.
Yeah,
It's
but I was
like,
No, my
I'm
soul.
not sure there's like any kids at my niece's level that would even like consider that. It's like it wouldn't even be considered like an option.
Guide you.
how old is she?
Yahoo!
Mi niece?
Yeah.
She's 7.
Yeah, but I think
Like
I think
I just can't
most-
imagine kids like in the classroom like even trying cheating. So I wonder where that shit
Starting
comes
to lose
from.
count.
She's also the type of like, she likes to tattletale on everybody and like stir shit and like,
Where the
It seems
fuck
like-
do these habits come from?
but she has like almost like,
I wonder if we just like have a
She-
more stable home life on average here in Norway.
yeah, but then like she at playtime, it's like, it always seems to like she's kind of arguing with people, like she kind of
She's
tries to get
combative.
other kids to do what she wants, or like there's always
Don't know what's implied. Not sure.
she's always trying to be seen as like the good one. So like, say she's like talking with her, she'll like, every time I go near her, she's like, oh sir, like this
She
person took my
teaches
pen.
pet what?
Oh no, yeah, she's like, this person took my pen, or this person said I'm this, or this person's not doing this. And so she's like,
She's a shit stir.
she's shit stir, and then trying to be good. She's trying to be like, get on, like, be good
Your
in
good
terms of
side.
like telling me when people are doing things wrong, right? But then like, she also cheats. So it's like,
Sorry, mate, you're not winning any points.
yeah, like, but then maybe she doesn't even know she's cheating. She's just like, in the sense of,
Oh, this
She
is
doesn't
just
see
what
it.
you do.
she doesn't see it as cheating. She sees it as like,
Brace yourself.
Winning.
I'm like desperate, and I'm like, I need. The teachers like do the questions, but I don't know how to do the questions. But then if I copy someone else, I've done the questions. So she doesn't see it as like, cheating to be lazy or anything. She's just like, I can't do it, but I have to do it, so I'll copy someone.
Basically, she has the instinct to not even try.
But it's like she doesn't want to fail, or like she's
Sure.
not getting the attention to like learn how to do it. But then it's I sat with her, right, for 10 minutes, and I explained to
Too
her.
long. On to the next
Yeah.
one.
Okay, exactly. It's like, so, but then, because what happened is everyone else, the teacher was like, okay, if everyone's got to question 5, you get to go outside and like with me, and we do some like activity outside, right? And if you haven't,
You should
you have to
phrase it
stay.
as you need to do it right.
Yeah, but then they can't mark everyone's thing right. But it's like, she was the only one left who hadn't got to question 5, right? She was still on like question 1, okay? And then I explained to her like for 10 minutes plus about, you know, with like numbers you can have like, you can do it in columns like thousands or hundreds, tens, ones.
Oh yeah,
right?
like I said, like apparently that isn't like, explained to most of them at that point. It seems.
Yeah. So then I
So
explained to her.
they have like really obscure ways of thinking because like how they think is completely inconsistent. Like you talk to 10 children about the 10 different explanations as to how they think.
Yeah. So what I tell her about, okay, like we've got so she knows what 4 plus 6 is, right? But she doesn't know what
Smart
40.
kid, that's the hardest
She doesn't.
one.
But she doesn't know what 40 plus 60 is,
Yeah.
because it's like she
Yeah,
doesn't.
again, because she doesn't see the pattern. Like those
She
are
doesn't
two
see this.
completely
Just add a
different
zero.
things.
Yeah,
exactly.
she doesn't see it. But then also but if I show her like the columns like tens and ones, so I explained to her like, okay, 20 plus 40, and then so I show, okay, in the hundreds column, go down, like add, instead of doing the plus symbol left to right, you know, like 2 plus 4, think of it as like going down. So like it's the same sum, but you're just going down the column, right? It's just like 2 plus 4 is 6, and then 0 plus 0 is 0, so that you get 60, right? 20 plus 40. And then she's
Thanks for
like,
the quick
oh, and then,
maths.
yeah, she's like, oh, I get it. And then
She
it was
doesn't.
like, as we got through the questions, she was really slow doing it. So she'd have it like like a little whiteboard, and she'd like draw the columns out, and then
Yeah, because
write each
she probably
number.
doesn't know like how to visualize it in her head, so it's like it's
Yeah.
still abstract to her.
So she puts them in the columns.
Also,
then
she
she
might
does
have
it.
aphantasia, like you never know.
Yeah. So what she does is she like does it really slowly, but she figures it out on her own.
Time for takeoff.
Which is like, okay, she knows what the fuck to do now. So it's more like the problem is also that because it takes her so long to like do the question, because she has to go through each step like visually, like write it down. That like the time she's supposed to do it in, she can't do it because she's like too slow for her. But then also she didn't even know how to do it that way, and so I taught her how to use the like number columns basically. Even though she's
But
supposed to know how to do that already.
speed you can improve over time. You
Yeah.
just have to like
No,
just
logic.
doing it at all is like a massive fucking step.
Yeah.
Everything else
But
is
then she
like
got-
habit.
When it was like 2-digit numbers, she was fine. But like as soon as I tried to add the
Add
like
one.
hundreds column,
Yeah.
so say you go like 10 plus 90, right? She's like
Yeah,
9
that's why
plus.
you have to. That's
yeah.
like. That's why you have to like. You don't try to solve an individual problem. Like you need to establish the pattern. So like everything
Yeah.
should be established as a pattern. So like you don't say just like, oh, you just add a column. Like you explain why there's a column, and then you see if she understands like what happens when you add each digit. It's like
Yeah.
adding each
So, like-
digit. It's just like moving along the column in this direction.
So yeah, so like
Or
the answer still has to be drawn in the columns. So if it's 4 plus 6, right, in the tens, and it's 10, so you can only have one digit in each column. So like you draw the 10 in the same way. So like there's like 0 tens because there's like 1 100, right? So like going from 2 digits to 3 digits, she didn't really get the like, how does 2 digits become 3 digits? You know,
uh-huh.
it's like when does it become 3 digits? Like it's kind of that. explaining it like that.
Sorry,
So it's
I
a
got
bit-
distracted. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's just like explaining how that there's like this, but then also it's like explaining what the columns are and like hundreds, tens, and ones, and then like actually looking at a number. Because some of them still have trouble looking at a number and knowing what the number is. Like if I put like 121, a lot of them will say like,
Oh, you got shit like dyscalculy, where like
yeah,
you got like a
But, like-
blindness for numbers, which is weird.
yeah. But so it's like, say if I put like 120, they'll be like, they'll say it as like
Rain cutter.
12,
Think you can get away?
or something like that, or like 10,
Ashes.
10-2 or something. You know, like they don't
yeah.
really.
Take this.
They don't
They
know
can't
the name.
read it. Yeah, they don't know the name of it. They don't know. They're still thinking in like 2 digits and 1 digit numbers. They don't. Like the word 100 is not. Oh yeah, I forgot. Like that's a thing. They can't convert it. They just see like. They know that 1 looks like this and 12 looks like this. And they look at like 121, so they think 21. But they don't get that. Like if you've got a 121,
Order guide you.
you have to add 100 at the front and stuff. So it's like.
Let's play.
They
Time
just
for
say like
takeoff.
121.
Let me weave you a verse.
As
Rain
you do.
outlines your
Yeah, and they get questions like you have to write it as words, like write 400 as the letters.
Yeah, bet that messes with them.
Yeah, so they're like, God. Or so it's like one way or the other. It's like, this is how you spell 400. Now write it as a number, and they're like, they just write the number
More
4.
the merrier.
Something
The
like
first
they
round's
don't
on me.
get it.
It's too hard, Isaac.
And I'm just like, was I this dumb? Was I this slow? Was I like it's hard to imagine me not knowing maths and like not knowing how to speak English. You know what I mean? I can't.
Isaac, I had 160 IQ, okay? You don't know the burden of this heavy brain.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, of course.
Because like when I was at school, I was always like first one to finish. Like I made it competitive almost, like for
Yeah, I
myself.
tried
Like
doing that. Like,
finish
again,
first.
I got fucked with my home life. Like, I didn't get any practice in at home, but while I was at school, like, I saw somebody else being good at math. Like, I wonder if I can beat him. And I would just like try to race.
I'm just like they're like, okay, do this page of questions, and I'm like, I like hyper focus and just finish it, and it's like the teacher's like, okay, next page, done, and I'm like 20
Yeah,
minutes
get
left
you.
of class, and I'm like, I've done 5 pages ahead of everybody else, and it's
Didn't
like
keep you waiting,
You're
did
too
I?
good, Isaac.
the
We're all
teacher
very
doesn't
impressed.
the teacher doesn't want you to
Finish early.
go
What?
too far ahead, because then the next lesson you'll just be doing nothing, right? So you get trapped, because so you're like you start becoming like 50 lessons ahead of everyone else.
You become
so-
a monster they cannot
Yeah,
control.
exactly.
Adventure time.
So they start like, so
Limiting
what
you
my
what?
teachers might have, they'll be like, okay,
Let's light it up.
do. So suppose everyone else has done like, we'll do like 2 pages of the like book, and I'll do 4. But then the teacher will be like, okay, do your
Rain
homework now.
outlines your fate.
So like, this is the homework for like people to take home, but you can do it now. And so I'd never had any homework because I'd always just do it in the classroom.
I get it, Isaac. You're super smart.
Yeah.
He says into a fucking cup.
No, but then the issue was like after a certain level, when it got to more complicated, like the stuff you do like pre-university, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like I didn't know how
Wait,
to
you got
study.
to pre-university?
Like I never studied in my life. But then
Who did?
the topics were more
Studying's for nerds.
complicated, so it's like I had to start studying, and like I didn't know how to do it, and I was not used to doing schoolwork outside school.
Know my soul.
So my like
Cutter.
grades for
Inazuma shines eternal.
sort of we have like, do you know what GCSE? Do you know what I mean when I say like GCSE? Like
Yeah,
A-level.
yeah. I think I had my A levels actually.
So like GCSEs, I got like A's everything.
So,
right,
sorry,
everything.
let me be more specific. Like I got my A levels when I was in Britain, like in England, I think, because I was there at the time. So I think I got my A levels,
Okay.
even though
so
they're not
like,
relevant to me when I moved back. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of confused.
so like it's like GCSEs and then you do A levels. and then it's like university.
Mm-hmm.
So GCSEs, I got like A's, everything, right? Never studied, just like A's and B's, passed everything without studying anything. And then my results for my A levels were like garbage, like D's, E's, C's, like nothing,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't fucking bother, I didn't care about it, and like I didn't try and study. And but I still got into T-side because
They have no
it was,
standards.
yeah, it was like, always like in my portfolio because I just drew loads. I had loads of like good drawings, I guess, and
There is no
Yeah,
Like
that's what you
interviews,
think, you
maybe?
cocky little shit.
so I had like life drawing, and cartoons, and animated characters, and
Wow, I've never seen those before.
oh, they're just desperate for students. Like, I was just,
Yeah.
they needed
I
to fill
don't-
the spaces or something.
Like I
Yeah. The animation class was quite small
illusion shattered.
my
compared to the others.
I don't. My assessment of T-side isn't exactly very flattering.
Yeah. But your assessment you got from them, or your assessment of them?
I guess both. It's
Both,
mutually.
yeah.
Long lost.
Yeah.
But like
But then
my,
did
my
you have, like,
assessment of them.
Did you
Like,
have like a
they-
primary? Like you go. Say it again.
Nah, it's
What were
not
you
that
gonna say?
important.
I was just gonna say, did you have like a primary teacher? So like the
At
animation
T-side, kind of
students.
not. No, actually,
We had,
that's
like-
That's related to what I was going to talk about. Like, for one of the classes, like I got assigned like one teacher, and then I like spoke to him and was expecting a certain grade, and then apparently, oh, a completely different teacher grades it, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck their reaction is gonna be, and I was like, I almost failed the class. I'm like, fucking, why do they do this? This is so fucking annoying. Like, of course I'm gonna tailor my goddamn paper to the person who's reading it. It's called knowing your audience. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. And because it's like artistic or whatever, and it's like conceptual or art based, it's like opinion, and it's not like just maths you get right or wrong. It's like assessing if you've understood the assignment and your goals and research and da-da-da.
There's just a lot of shit involved, and I think the logic is that it's supposed to be for fairness. Like it shouldn't be because you sucked up to your teacher or some shit like that. But all you're doing is taking shit out of my control because I no longer know what the fuck is happening because I don't know how to. I no longer know what to do. Because I've had this shit before where it's like, oh no, it says here on the paper like a list of the things that you need. Yeah, but I followed the list as far as I understand it, and then I still fail some of these, and I have no idea why. Except the consistent pattern is that you give me a new teacher for some fucking reason, and now all of a sudden I'm no longer succeeding these, even though I went through that list with my previous teacher. Why the fuck do they do this?
And you had that with like the final year project where I think it was like one or two teachers were like assigned to you, like you were going to present it to them. They're the ones like who are going to see it. And like for me, it was like with the animation class, it's like we had like Tim Brunton, the guy, like animation guy, and it was like
Careful. No names.
he was like our animation teacher. So like, all the classes, it was like him, right? And like, cause we had maybe only like I think 12 people the last year, maybe a bit more, 15 or something. But like, so it was manageable class, and like we were all in the same class and all had enough attention with him and like did all of the tasks, and then he was my final year sort of lecturer that I presented to. So it's like he kind of got what I was doing, and he'd seen me like the progress I'd made and the idea I had and how I developed it. So like he had the experience of seeing me create it, not just seeing the final result. So it's like it seems almost a bit unfair because some people just had like random teachers from other courses. They're still on the game stuff, but like just like non-animation based.
Yeah, that's the shit that happened to me.
Yeah. So it's just kind of hit and miss, and yeah.
Yum yum yum.
Yeah. Did I time is it?
I don't remember how my final year project shit went with that.
It's almost like irrelevant, you know.
Yeah.
Like people getting jobs before they finished. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like not understanding why some people got some opportunities instead of others.
I thought that was weird because you had like an end of year show, but like only some people got to present in it, which is like fucking weird. It's like just the whole point, right? It's like everyone should have a chance. Like you're there to present.
What am I paying for?
It's like one person gets to show their final year project to like shit tons of industry people, and then the other person doesn't. Like, why would you do that? Like, you're a university, you want people to be successful. You have all these students and all their projects. It's like
Apparently, they're only loyal to a few.
well, they only want the best. So it's
Possibly.
like
It could be that like it simply isn't practical to have every person there, but
yeah,
it still ends up being confusing to me.
yeah.
Like when I don't understand what the conditions are, there's nothing I can do. Like I can't just suddenly know what it is that's demanded of me.
Yeah.
But that is far from exclusive to T-side. I've had that issue everywhere.
Yeah. We're too good for the world.
Too pure. It
Better
doesn't
than-
deserve us.
We are better than everyone else. La, la, la.
And we're so humble too.
Yeah. That's why we're better.
That goddamn pause. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
So cool. We're so loved. Everyone loves us. Totally.
Really, bro.
Where the fuck am I? No, where the fuck am I? Have I been here before?
Genshin Forest. Is that what it's called?
Genshinville.
Why is it called Genshin Impact? What's Genshin? Is Genshin like a thing?
I think so. Man, why you gotta be asking me, huh? Do I look like
If
a
I can
fucking...
play this fucking game every day and you're like, I don't know what Genshin is.
What the fuck is a Genshin, Isaac?
Like, I know what Kenshi is. It's a fucking moon, isn't it? It's the planet they're on, but it's a moon. You don't know what Genshin is, come on.
Now you're confusing me, Isaac.
And what's the impact?
Where
Is
the
that a
fuck
meteorite?
is... Yes. What, yeah, Isaac, that's based on real life. You don't know about the Genshin impact? It's what killed the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It was an overdose on weebing.
Let's move out.
Google that. What does Genshin mean in Genshin Impact? The word Genshin refers to humans who possess visions.
Breathtaking.
Does it?
They have the potential to become gods, which is the origin of that name. Genshin means something like proto-god or...
Yeah, Isaac, obviously. God, you're embarrassing.
primordial original god.
And yes,
Genshin refers
OG
to
God.
the people who rise up to Celestia.
Rise up.
Or
Genshin's rise
Celestia,
up.
like heaven.
I'm pretty sure that's in My Little Pony.
God. My little pony.
My Little Brony.
My little pony.
Oh, dude. Have you had a
ponies.
scony?
Scone, yeah, Sconies are good.
My little
love scones.
scony, my little scony.
Scones, fucking clotted cream, jam. Fucking great.
Clotted cream sounds fucking horrible. I don't like anything clotted.
But it's like, it's just like thick cream, basically.
Like double C thick.
Yeah. Like, like
Nice.
yeah, it's like a paste. You know what I mean? It's like a spread. It's just cream that's like thick, so
Isaac,
thick you can spread it on
please,
toast.
Please don't put the words cream and spread in the same fucking sentence, Jesus.
Spread and let me cream.
Why did you have the same cadence as my body's telling me yes?
Yeah. No.
But my mind. No, my mind is telling me no, but my body.
It makes what I
body's
say
telling
like
me- How
less
did I fucking
filthy.
know?
Sing it
It
like an
doesn't.
angelic voice. It like lowers the kind of.
Oh, is that what that was? That was an angelic voice, huh?
It lowers the impact. If I just say like, "Oi,
Of the
spread and spread and let me cream," you can't. So if I just say that,
You Genshin cat.
yeah. If I like sing it, like spread, like it's like a love songs you get which are like filthy,
Ooh,
but they don't
baby,
seem filthy.
Spread and let me cream. Ooh, baby.
Yeah,
Let
exactly.
me into your dreams. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, lick my lollipop, take you to the candy shop, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all.
Yeah.
Yes. Great response.
Okay.
Isaac, I've found a completely new area that I haven't been in this game yet.
Let's play.
Isn't that amazing?
Well done. You found
you.
robot dinosaurs. Did they survive the impact?
Yeah, it's a little awkward. Like,
Or like, yeah,
are you watching the stream?
yeah. Well, just have it in the background.
It's just funny because it said that like a viewer showed up for like a millisecond and then disappeared, and I'm assuming that you're still here. You've somehow like hacked the mainframe and become a ghost in the show. I don't have an explanation as to how the fuck you managed to hide all the goddamn time when you're in my streams. It's like the world's worst superpower. Why do you have this?
Magic.
Oh,
Magical. I don't know. Yeah, like sometimes you don't see.
you're Harry Potter.
Do you have like a thing that shows you who's viewing? Like
Yeah,
a
like
count
it's supposed to
users
keep
in
track.
chat.
And it's flatlined pretty goddamn hard. It's like, let me tell you.
Yeah. You had a few subscribers before, didn't you?
Yeah. You think they showed up again?
5.
You think there's any loyalty in these people?
But then on the subscriber thing, when you go live, you become the sort of first option on the subscription list.
I don't know what you mean.
So let's say you go on YouTube and you go to your subscriptions, right? And
Sure.
you're seeing all the new videos. If you're currently live, your currently live video is in the top, is like the first option.
Yeah.
So people will be seeing that you're online, right?
Yeah,
They'll just
but
ignore you.
there's... Okay. The most realistic thing is that people don't really give a shit. I was mildly entertaining, they subscribed, and they never thought about me again, right? Number 2 is... they might have been interested if it wasn't for the fact that YouTube does this shit where they'll never alert people unless they hit the goddamn bell. And like popularity is like is self-perpetuating. Like maybe if I gained some traction, I might be able to like get the money train going. Why you phrase it the most obnoxious way possible? God fucking damn it. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. But like recently I was like, like Andrew Tate's accounts are all banned. But like he can still be like hosted and like in videos on YouTube. So like there's people still interviewing him and like
Hey.
he's like with them on the interview. So it's like he could just make a fake account that's run by some other fake person and then he's just
Let's move out.
is always
Sure.
there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course you can. What's your point, Isaac?
Like, it's
Think
just
you're cool
weird.
and original for thinking about this, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, you win. How do you feel now? Why are you so tired? It's not even that late.
No, I was
Had a
out.
busy day, sweetie.
Yesterday I didn't get home
You were
till
creaming and spreading.
almost.
I, did somebody ruin your orgasm? I'm kind of confused. I don't know what almost
no,
means in
like,
this
so
context.
I had like a first date with somebody.
Ooh. I'm sorry,
It's really
which part
good.
is the creaming and which part is the spreading?
But like
Sorry.
by the end of it, it was like making out. Just sort of. So
Ow.
like we went to. We just kind of met
Brace
around
yourself.
central London, and then we did just like a little bar. It's like underground. It's very
Okay.
small. There's like
Rest for the week.
10 tables. It's like really private and quiet. But then we just spent the whole time talking about fucking anime.
You fuck anime?
Yeah. Well, we talked like it was like talking about ourselves and animes we like, and she's like a big weeb as well.
And that's
She
what
literally-
you're looking for, is it?
Yeah, exactly. So she's like, I'm like, okay, what kind of
Like,
stuff do you like?
unironically, like you can't even tell.
Yeah, why not? You know, she's interested in it.
Anime is art, according to some people.
Oh, it's like I like it, she likes it.
Yeah.
It's like similar, you know, we're like very similar like personalities. And she's like, she's not just like, oh, she's like surface level. She's like, yeah, like Mob Psycho. But it's funny. She said,
Dude,
she
Mob
likes
Psycho's
Mob.
fucking great, don't you even?
Right, I know. But then I'm like, okay, why do you like Mob Psycho? And like, what do
It's
you
like,
like?
I
And
don't know, it's like, it looks cool.
she describes the exact same like scene and things that you say you like about it when he like joins the club and they're like really nice to him and like they're like muscle guys are like
So you're
so
saying that I'm
supportive.
surface level, I'm confused.
No, I'm saying how I'm always saying about how me and you should get married, right?
No, I say that. Shut up. Don't steal my thunder. You,
But then-
you can't just like claim to my epic jokes like that.
But then she's similar in like liking stuff like you do, and like for the same reasons. Like she likes Mob Psycho for the same reason you do.
Oh, so she's actually introspective enough to like how to put it. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people like it, a lot of the other things. A lot of people are terrible at explaining why.
Yeah, and then
Some people just don't even know why.
yeah, and so like she's also like training to be a therapist.
Oh, cool.
So
Respect.
she, yeah, yeah, and so it's like
Oz, reveal thyself.
yeah, it's probably like the best first date I've ever had.
Whoa.
And it's
Okay.
like chatting and
Congratulations, you can't female me. You happy now?
right, no, she's more film, but then it's just more kind of like we're the same age and we have the same like we know the same references and like
Oh, she can meme like the best of you.
yeah, and like the same similar personalities or like similar issues with other people where we kind of
We
Because
like the
I'm-
same things, we hate the same people.
well no, it's like I think it's more like our way like so
But
for me it's
yeah,
like
yeah, like on a, sorry, I'm distracted now just because we were technically on multiple topics. But that fucking scene with like the muscle heads being like genuinely supportive of
Yeah.
Mob Psycho is like generally one of my favorite things because like they're setting this up. They're like, oh no, the jocks are showing up and they're gonna kick his ass, and then he's gonna be cool because he's more powerful than them. And instead, it's just like. Oh, you want to improve your body? That's very respectable. We can help you out with
Yeah.
that. It's like, what the fuck? I fucking love
Yeah.
that shit so goddamn much. And
Exactly.
like Mob Psycho being like, I want to be popular. It's like, that's extremely superficial. And I was like, he starts working out his body. I don't, oh god, there's so much unexpected shit that I really enjoy in that. Anyway, you were talking about something completely different.
well, it's just like we were like kind of like joking around and like texting and flirting and
Ooh,
like
look at you.
like deep conversations and da-da-da.
Yeah, but
it's
you know
like-
what you consider deep conversations, you Philistine.
yeah, but it was really good and like but I think she says to me she's kind of a bit like not ADHD but kind of like
Careful, some people use that as an excuse.
well like no like just like hyper focuses on things or gets distracted or like
Sure. I'm
those
just saying
things
some people use that as an excuse to like behave in certain ways when
that-
it's
nah,
something they can like try a little bit harder to fix.
yeah well I don't but then also like
There's been this really weird like cultural shift where people like wear their dysfunctions as a badge of honor that is
yeah
like, frustrating. Yeah.
But then I think one issue I always have, like, I know she likes me, and Like,
It's important to replenish
but
your
say-
supplies often
You
when
cocky
you're
little
out in
shit.
the wild.
yeah, and like
Hmm?
I messaged her today, like, because I was gonna give her some more like anime recommendations, like things I couldn't remember that I liked, or like good movie ideas and stuff. So I like send her a
Does she
bunch
know
of
you're
those.
cheating on her with Lithuania?
Yeah.
The entire country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, but then she's also seeing like dating other people as well.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So like, I send her these like anime recommendations, and then she replies like enthusiastically, and like same way we're talking and everything.
Mhm.
And then I reply. I start
So
talking. Okay.
she starts watching the anime and she's like, I'm sorry, I don't think I can see you anymore. She's a
But
fucking snob hardcore.
nah. But it's like
Okay.
I'm just like. She replies, "Oh yeah, I've seen this one, or I wanted to see this, or this looks good." And da da da. And I ask her like, "Oh, do you?" Because we talked about like anime and stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, did you watch any of the like cartoons and stuff as a kid, like Samurai Jack or Invader Zim, all this kind of stuff?"
Mhm.
And she replies, and then like I'm replying again to her, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm on like FaceTime or like chatting with my mum on the phone, so I might reply slowly, right? I might take
Mm.
some time to reply." And it's like that was like
Some people don't have the courage.
6 hours ago. So it's like she hasn't replied for like 6 hours.
She might have had to reprioritize.
That's what I mean. So like, but because I'm so like, I have enough. I'm like, I have so much free time, and I always like have to reply to everyone quickly, and like I'm just sort of, I like because she hasn't replied. I'm like, my mind is just straight away like,
You're still going to like negative conclusions.
yeah. I'm like, no. It's kind of. It's more that I just don't understand why. I can't like.
It would be so hard.
Yeah, like, and it's kind of.
Let's play.
But then it's consistent with what she's done before. It's not like she was talking to me loads all the time and then she just stopped, right?
Sure.
It's like the same thing's happened before where like days go by and just like she was supposed to let me know when she's free, but then she doesn't, and then so I message her like, "Oh, are we still gonna go?" And she's
Ruin
like,
everything by
yeah.
saying something stupid like "I love you."
Yeah. And so it's like I get that's how she is,
But
but then it's like it seems hard to not compare myself how I behave, because I see it like
Yeah.
if I didn't reply to you like someone quickly, the reason I wouldn't reply to someone is because I don't want to talk to them and like don't want to. I'm like avoiding them, or I don't want to answer them, or they're like I'm trying to create distance with them or something. So it's like the fact that that's how I see taking ages to reply.
Mhm.
I think it's like they do the same. So it's like I'm like, oh shit, like I said something wrong, or
I'm
I'm not.
correlating to this to some shit that I feel like is probably not actually reasonable to connect. But remember how I talked about that? Like I've developed, like I've tried to, and I managed to develop this attitude that I do things for other people and don't expect anything in return.
Yeah, same.
Like to me, this correlates. Like I try to apply that logic to situations like this where, because I've had so many situations where like people just don't reply in time. So like a lot of the times I send messages, but I don't expect a message like to be returned until like maybe a day later, because I've had people like it looks like they're there, but then it's like sorry, like I just had to fucking leave. Like there was nothing to do about it. Like I didn't have time to reply. I was just about to go through the door, but I read the message at the last second and shit like that. So, and I do the same
Yeah.
thing. Like I understand that shit.
That's why it's like,
And like
but also,
most of the people I know are so far past the stage where like they're, to me that's a form of passive aggression, where it's like I don't want to deal with this now, so I'm just going to leave you with all the bad feeling and all the suspicion.
But it's like I know because she's like trained to be a therapist, so like she's almost finished her like first year, so she's got she's got like
She's
a deadline.
using her psycho powers on you, Isaac.
Yeah, she's got a deadline which is like the next like weekend or something, right? But like she's like she's like I can't like meet up with you again until after I've like handed in my final whatever, and, like done all my projects and things, because she's like super busy, like doing all the work. Like when I was at uni and like my final year project, it's like just for like a whole month, I'm like 12 hours a day just fucking doing that. It's like,
Yeah.
so I get it. I get that like she's really busy
The
doing
hustle.
her. Yeah, she's like doing her stuff and like
Doing her thing, assignments.
yeah. So it's like it's perfectly logical.
Sure.
And it's like I get it, and like, and she was telling me, oh, yeah, I've been so busy doing all my work, and it's like, even though she went,
but
she's like,
when you tell me this shit, like, how much are you? Like, I don't know how to read this. Like, how much does this actually affect you? Because it seems like you do understand it, but are you trying to explain to me that you understand it like at a practical level, but not an emotional one, or what? Okay.
It's like practically I get it, but then I'm stuck with this like uncertainty of like, why are they not replying? Are they like testing me? Are they like not interested anymore? Are they like feeling?
How much have you thought about it? Like, do you think about, okay, what the hell is the actual likelihood here?
It's like almost non-existent, right?
Yeah.
And it's like so, but then it's like,
But do you like properly talk yourself through it? Because wait, okay, I swear to God, if you just like sort of unironically like talk aloud to yourself and just talk through the situation, you can actually like simulate a conversation and like actually calm yourself down and with this sort of shit. I swear to God that shit works. Even though I rarely apply it myself, but then again I don't have this experience a lot of the time myself.
yeah, it's just kind of my own thing of like
Neuroses.
yeah, and but then it's previous experiences and my own experience and like, because I'm always like, how long does it take to write a reply? Like 10 seconds.
Pages.
Right? But then it's like, sometimes you don't want to get into a conversation at this point. It's like, so you're busy or like you only got a bit of time. Like you don't want to feel like it's intruding. Say you're like you've got loads of work to do today, but like someone's messaging you and like trying to talk to you, and like you're replying kind of constantly. Like it's a distraction, or it's like you feel like you have to keep the conversation going, or you don't want to. You know what I mean? You don't want to kind of.
I try to be available on Messenger because, like, I don't really use it for chatting. It's mostly just like, oh, are you planning on doing something soon? Or like, you've been invited to do something. Like, that's why it's there. But then sometimes my dad spams me with links. I'm like, stop, you're abusing your power. I will block you.
Yeah.
I'm disowning my own dad.
But then for me, it's like, it doesn't, I don't feel any kind of intrusion of like having to reply, and like, it's like I can multitask or whatever. It's like I can just kind of, I can be like doing something on the computer and talking to somebody at the same time, right?
Why so braggy,
like,
huh?
It's just how I am. It's like I'm.
You're just a braggy guy, huh?
Well, I say I don't like. I guess, are you good at multitasking?
Everybody claims that they're good at multitasking.
Because it's like, but then think like you're playing Genshin and you're like talking to me, and then you might be like texting someone else.
This is what I mean. Like, people don't understand how multitasking actually works. So, like, depending on what you're doing, there's like almost no overlap between like the different brain centers, and there's like no interplay. So you can do like two completely separate things. Like, you can keep your hands busy with fairly complicated tasks, like in terms of dexterity. But as soon as like it requires like creative thinking, or like you need to understand like how you need to manipulate what you're doing, it starts distracting from your other functions. And like especially when it comes to language, like if I enter a cutscene, you can say bye to this conversation because I can't read and pay attention to your conversation at the same time. So like, so everybody has like a different idea of what the fuck multitasking means. So I just go, like whenever I hear people talk about multitasking, I'm just like, I don't trust a single thing you're saying on this subject. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So what do you mean when you say I think I'm good at multitasking?
In a sense, or like I think maybe it's like it's not gonna intrude on my other thing. Like, so say you're like working on a project today, right? Say like someone's texting you. Me kind of spending a minute to look at it and reply, it doesn't like take me out of the other thing.
I'm sorry, what it is you're doing?
Yeah, I'm just like working on a project or something, like doing an animation.
Like, honestly, even if you're
doing something I'm concentrating on.
Depends. Like, if you're just doing like color fills or you're doing like all the in-betweens and shit like that, then I wouldn't believe it. If you're like doing keyframe shit where like, okay, how exactly did I need to do this position? A single message and like you did distract yourself from that, you might lose your entire train of thought. I don't believe that.
Don't know. Like, well, I've had like
Isaac, we talked about this shit of like how the best way to manage your work isn't to like stop when you're done with something significant. It's to leave yourself with like a clear idea of what you're supposed to do the next day. It's the same shit here. Like the sleep time is just like a break period where you're not doing the work. That break period can be technically like anything. If you make the disruption big enough, it can get so fucky, and it can also go down to a way lower scale where you just had something in mind and then you don't remember it, then you skip it, then you keep drawing, and then realize, wait, this wasn't the idea that I had initially, but I forgot what the fuck the idea that I had initially, and then you do the wrong keyframe and shit. Like, there's all sorts of consequences that aren't immediately obvious unless you like actively pay attention to it. Usually,
I don't know, because when I had a thing that like, well, I've had multitasking where it's been like difficult, like proper multitasking where it's like difficult, but I still did it, and like the scale of it was so like insane.
Can you put this in more like practical terms that I can understand, because it feels so vague?
So when I was a manager, right, I was a day where I was simultaneously managing like 20 people, doing the payroll and timesheets and spreadsheets for 200 people, and on a live call manager training program all at the same time. Like literally at the same time. So I'm like 2 computers and on the call doing like tasks, like live talking to people in group tasks while like figuring out and thinking, okay, this person was working in this unit, they have this much overtime, this goes here, this, I need to input this here, balance this here, like, and sort of keeping track of like, okay, who's left the office now, this person, I need to check this, have they done this part of their delivery, are they going here, like all at the same time for like a whole day.
Yeah, but do you how to put this, like, I'm not sure you should be trusting your own assessment of like the quality of the work during that. Like, that's usually why, like, when you have all these tests, you have somebody paying attention to somebody else, because like I've talked about this unreliability of self-reporting. Like, you don't take people's own assessment of themselves when you can gauge their work more directly.
But then my thinking of it is like, so I did all the tasks, right? So I completed everything and there's no errors, right? and like I'm doing the group tasks and like getting the answers right, and
Yeah, but
all the payroll's done.
I don't know how intense any of those aspects are. So it's just like the only thing I can do here is just either take your word for it or not. But I got no reason to do either when I don't know anything about the situation.
But then it's like, but if I compare that
I don't
with,
think I've even I don't think I've seen you in a multitask situation where I can even make this sort of assessment.
okay, but then say you think like what, thinking of that situation I described versus like being able to draw and reply to a text message at the same time.
Wait,
It's like the,
Let's play.
so
Odds
what I
revealed
described
by
as like having to spend 8 hours doing all those tasks simultaneously, right? And then also me being able to sit and draw a picture and reply to someone's text. The like level of difficulty for comparison of those two. So you not being able to believe that I can multitask and do a drawing and reply to text at the same time.
Yeah, sorry, I think
And
you're
it's like,
misunderstanding. I don't know if this is a higher or lower than average expected level of multitasking.
yeah.
Like, I don't know what you consider baseline. Like,
Yeah.
because I got my own assessment of myself, and I got my own assessment
Yeah.
of other people, but I don't have any like practical values that I can like compare and contrast.
But then for
And
me,
it's
it
not
just,
like I study this on a regular basis, so I can like
No.
recognize this as a.
but
as a
it, seems,
task
it just
path.
seems like for me, I can multitask or do more things in my head at once.
You can get away.
Than the average person.
Yeah. So then, but because it seems so easy for me to like reply to people and have conversation and like do other stuff in
You
the
expect
same
the same from
time.
others.
Yeah, I'm like, why is it hard? You know what I mean?
Sure.
But then it's like, so then the reason they don't reply is because they don't want to reply. It's not that they can't reply; it's just they don't want to reply. I think that's the main issue I'm having. It's like I'm assuming that the reason they're not replying is they're like choosing not to because they just don't want to do it. Not that like they're focused on their work and they have stressed out and they've got all these other things they have to do and like they want to talk to me but they just can't manage doing it. You know what I mean? And so that's my perception is always like they don't want to reply to me. Which is because
And
I'm
what you're gonna do
thinking,
about it, huh?
just live with it.
Yeah.
Just like have a like slight anxiety all the time.
I mean, maybe we should just Google. Fuck, I forgot the abbreviation. How is it called? Oh, CBT, not cock and ball torture, but cognitive behavioral therapy.
Odds revealed. Yahoo!
Like, that's supposed to be like one of the most tried and true things when it comes to shit like this. You basically have a certain thought pattern, but I don't think you're giving enough credit to the degree that you can assess the thought or like affect your thought pattern.
Yeah.
So like, how to put this? I think it helps to understand what like memories and thoughts even are. All it is like synaptic sequences, and you have hormones in your brain that can affect the likelihood of a synaptic sequence repeating. And any action done once is infinitely more likely to repeat than an action that has never been done in the first place. So like if you just have one way of thinking and you're able to like remind yourself that you're supposed to think a certain way, you can like slowly start moving your thought pattern to something else. So like if you, but like it requires some level of active observation. So when you think about these things, just try and notice the way they think, and then just add, yeah, but I already know that this isn't likely. And like, just keep doing that, and eventually it should like affect itself.
Because it's so odd that it's like looking at it, it's like you would think the reason. Say someone doesn't want to talk to you, right? Or like is losing interest in you, whatever. Like you can kind of read it from their response. So the responses would like infer not just them like not replying. Like say they used to be really chatty and happy and chatting with you, and then suddenly they're just doing like one-word answers and just like vague, like just
Yeah,
trying
but
to.
I want to be careful even with that because you also got to keep in mind that shit. Give me a second. Sometimes people just have bad days, and sometimes like some people, like I also do this too. I don't want to tell people that I have a bad day because I don't want to, how to put this, like bias their opinion because maybe I can get away with it or some shit. But like I've tried to get rid of that habit where, like, if I just feel like I'm typing and so it's like I don't feel like I'm communicating this properly. I just write it out and then like PS like I think I'm kind of pissy today. And I just like let it be known.
That's the thing for me. It's like I don't. Again, that's another thing where I don't feel like I really have bad days. Like I don't.
Oh, okay, Buddha, Jesus.
But like in the sense of like
We've got
you
Mr.
being
Enlightenment over
like
here.
you being able to recognize that like your responses might be shitty because you're having a bad day, right?
Yeah.
Like that has never come into my brain. Like
So this is the thrill of
Like-
adventure.
But I was
I
like,
don't.
maybe
I
you're
feel like my
operating with-
response is not genuine.
I mean, you like everything's relative. You have some days where just like you're more tired and you've got less interaction, and like when I don't know if there's a reason for that, I don't know how to read into it. And like if you don't have a bad day, like that doesn't really matter. Like look at your behavior. That's sort of what
Yeah.
matters.
I don't feel like.
But that's what I mean. Like that's why I'm just okay. I said piss in that example, but sometimes like I'm just tired. Like I don't have the energy to engage at the level that I feel like people expect from me. And I've talked about that shit.
Yeah.
I feel like I've avoided a lot of social interactions just because I don't feel like performing that day, and
Yeah.
I feel like I've been the sort of both social lubricant and glue, however that works in some situations where
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm
know that
responsible
feeling.
for everyone's like
Good time.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that. God. It's like, but then it's kind of. Still trying to like figure out what would help me like not have these like thoughts of like, oh, they don't want to talk to me because it's like
That is a good start.
it's like yeah, like I have so much evidence that like that they don't think like that. But then it's
But you
like
focus on the one thing that it does.
yeah, it's like
Okay, be aware of the 4-to-1 ratio when it comes to positive negativity, I don't know.
yeah,
Which I also think I've talked about.
yeah. It's just it's like, especially like the way we like talked yesterday and like texting and
Solidify.
even today. It's like it's like
She
there's
would have had
no-
to change her mind impressively fast on
yeah,
very
but
arbitrary grounds.
it's almost like she'd have to learn something about me that's like terrible, that like or she hates. Like,
Lithuania's getting involved!
no, but like she even knows that she like not very much about. She just knows that I'm seeing someone else, you know. But it's like
Repeat this, delete this? Sorry, I don't think I caught that.
like the something. Say like she suddenly changed her mind.
Uh-huh.
It would be based on like something about me that she just doesn't like. For example, say like she was like I didn't like say we never talked about it, and then she turned out to be a vegan, but she like learned that I love
This sounds
like
familiar.
I love meat or something. But then so she doesn't like me now because she's found out that I'm not. I like eating meat, and then she has such a thing about like animal cruelty or whatever that.
Sure. Have you tried any like fake meat yet? Some of it's like
Yeah, it's really good.
really, yeah.
A lot of it's really nice. Yeah.
Is it too
Yeah,
expensive for you? Like,
it's a mixture of like expense versus like what's in it in terms of like if I want lots of protein,
it
it's
doesn't
like
have enough.
no.
But I
Like,
thought they
okay,
were. I think even like nutritionally, they were balanced around the same because
Yeah.
like all of it affects like how you experience the meat.
yeah, but then it's if you're a lot of the fake meat I eat, it's like I'm like out somewhere, right?
Sure.
Like I'm trying it on like with the Russian, and it's like let's get a vegan burger or something. But like so I don't know. There's no like calorie and nutritional information
My
with it.
royal decree.
So like if I was gonna swap my whole diet, it'd be like I'd have to get all the nutritional information, which is pretty easy. But then also the cost of most of this fake meat is like double
So this is the thrill
meat,
of
Yeah.
adventure.
or like
Yeah, I think that's the
more.
primary problem. But yeah.
That's like one of the big issues.
But at the
Oh, no,
same
because
time, you avoid animal cruelty.
yeah,
But like, I wonder.
Breathtaking.
I want to use you as a guinea pig. I want you to try like a long-term diet on this shit and see if like you feel differently during it, because who knows what sort of outcomes the differences end up having.
well, one thing I've been doing recently, I've experienced like so before.
As if you're a
Water
robot, you don't
gliding
have
faster.
experiences.
So I was like, like for the last few months, it's been like very meat heavy diet. It's like
Yeah.
just meat and stuff. But recently, in the last few
But
weeks,
you were
I've
on
done
it
like,
before. How is this different? Or
well, no, that. Well, when I lost all the weight initially, it wasn't just meat. It was like meat and green vegetables, and eventually it got to a point where there was like a bit of potato and stuff.
can I leave a come back real quick?
Hmm.
Okay, perfect.
The publishing house has released numerous works that lay out military strategy in a simple and pragmatic way. Those are my favorite. Respect must be given to the will of every creature. Each fish in the ocean swims in its own direction.
I came up with some shit that I wanted to talk about, but it's a complete non sequitur. Did you have anything else on your mind?
Hmm. Really?
I guess it wasn't that important.
But all I was saying was just like, recently I've added like, with my meals I basically have like 100 grams of sweet potato and like 100 grams of like like sweet corn, peas, carrot, like
I thought you were
vegetables,
about to say Groot. I'm like, what?
like green veg, like broccoli.
Okay.
Like I'm just like, so I'm
Yeah,
adding
yeah,
that
so
to
that wasn't the
the
direction
meals.
your phonetics. I was just like, wait, what?
But like I feel so like I've just added that to my big meat meal,
Okay.
and it's like I feel better in terms of my stomach, and it's like like I have a bit more energy, because before I'd like when I go to the gym I'd like yawn a lot,
Uh-huh.
but then now it's like I don't. because I'm adding more calories, I guess, because technically I've kept the same amount of meat.
Yeah, but is it
I've
the
just-
carbohydrate specifically you think is helping, or what's the
That's the thing. I
implication?
don't know. It's like it's something, but like also, like say like last night,
Brace yourself.
because I got home really late at like 2 in the morning. I got like a big pizza, right? Because I hadn't eaten for ages, and like normally, like when I had that before.
When was the last time you ate a pizza? I feel like, oh, I guess you do eat when you go out these days.
Yeah.
So no matter.
So like the last time I went clubbing, or like a month ago, I've gone to like a nightclub where I come back.
By the way,
and,
Isaac, how do you like the environment? Like, I feel like they actually really captures like these large vista things pretty well in this game.
Yeah, like they kind of
They
reminds me
give
of Breath
like
of
they
the
give,
Wild.
yeah, it's like
They
they,
look,
they
yeah,
give
they look
things,
good.
they give things like proper lines of action, like breakpoints and shit like
Yeah.
that.
It looks more designed.
Yeah, like that
Like
I actually
artistic.
find to be straight up better than how things look in Elden Ring, which I feel would make most people like fucking snap at me. But like, it's just something about like how standing here, like they capture the curvature and like it just looks good from this angle, and like it can move around the environments, and usually like it looks good from other angles too. And then like sometimes when I play Elden Ring, I just look at something, it's like this is just fucking noise. It looks so fucking messy.
Yeah. I think that it does have that like Genshin, like looking at this now, it's like
Hold the line.
it feels
Odds reveal the... Here we go.
it kind of almost sometimes reminds me of like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, because they got this like painterly aesthetic thing.
Yeah, but also I think with World of Warcraft, because they know it's like a big MMO in a world and like you can go anywhere, it's like and because they have like flying mounts and they kind of put effort
And
into
Dota, yeah.
sort of
Let's move out.
seeing the landscape as a whole. And
Yeah.
like, because Elden Ring is like your
But okay, my experience with World of Warcraft wasn't very flattering. Like they might have gotten better over time, but I remember like all the landscape, like never really liking anything that I looked at.
I think
Like I like the art style technically, but maybe they were just like held back too much by the like graphical limitations or something, because. Like I've told you about this. Like this game doesn't really like clever, simple things with the graphics shit that I'm just like this just works really well. And like the dew on the plants, it's like this works really well. And it's like there's transparency on the leaves. That's a touch that I fucking love. I fucking need that shit. It makes the scene look so much warmer and shit like that.
but it's like
There's like very small things that you can do that really help, but it still like requires some.
I feel it, but then when I say it reminds me of Warcraft, it's like the newer expansions,
Okay.
like because
I haven't looked a lot at them, so
yeah,
this is a
like
big boy.
previously, like the old World of Warcraft zones, they're so like harshly segregated, like segmented. It's like you go from like
Time for
one
takeoff.
zone to the other, and it's like one is just red. The zone is like just bright red everywhere, and then the other zone is like bright green. And there's just like a giant row of mountains separating them, and it's like
Yeah,
We should make the most of these supplies.
yeah.
but I remember not liking that. I remember some areas like
That's
being
what I mean.
lava lands, and it's just fucking like a block of 2 colors. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is kind of getting harsh to look
So-
at. I'm glad I'm buttoned in.
Hold the line.
But then like the newer zones are more cohesively like pieced together, like transitions, and they let you sort of see from a distance. Because that's what they did in World of Warcraft a lot. It's like the zones were like self-contained, but also the borders of the zones were like usually obscuring the view of any other zone.
Yeah, so they felt like extremely self-contained. You're
Yeah.
telling me that they're like opening up to each other, so it actually feels like traversing a proper landscape, because that's like much needed.
Yeah, well, like you say, you go to
And this
Like in
sandstorm
World of
is
Warcraft.
absolutely insane.
like say like Battle for Azeroth. Like they had like the troll country, like Zandalar, like the Oman, the troll homeland or whatever.
Wasn't that like in Stranglethorn or something?
No, like
Oh no, they
Brace
put
yourself.
it's like the Zandalari Empire, like the sort of oldest troll empire, the like best, biggest one
yeah. I just
that like died out.
there was this fucking like island in Stranglethorn that was supposedly related to like something really important, but the Zandalari shit, wasn't that like up in Wrath of the Lich King, like near Northrend or some shit?
No, that was
I'm so
So you have,
confused then.
so in Stranglethorn Vale, initially, like in the classic World of Warcraft, you had a small like outpost slash tribe of Zandalari trolls.
Sorry, repeat that.
So in Stranglethorn Vale, you
Okay.
had a small tribe of Zandalari trolls in Stranglethorn Vale, and they were sort of mixed in with the quests and lore in the one of the, what's the like raid in Zulaman or whatever it is?
Zul'Gurub?
Zul'Gurub, yeah, that's it. So like,
You're not a real troll.
yeah. So like, so the history of the Zandalari was like they were all over the world, but then they kind of splintered and died out or in
They
fighting
pussied
or whatever.
out.
But then in the new expansion, it's like Zandalar, the home place, was like trapped in a maelstrom, blah blah blah, and like hidden from the world and
Are
blah
you
blah
telling
blah.
me that they're rewriting history or what?
No, it's like the like continent of which the Zandalar trolls are from was like it like disappeared or was hidden or like undiscovered or like got lost because it's like so close to the maelstrom in the center or something, or some magic kept it hidden. And so the big landmass is like Zandalar, which is the troll continent.
It sure
But
is.
they have all the zones, and like between the zones,
Thank Barbados.
it's way more like consistently transitioning. Like you have like forests kind of
Move out.
leading into like dark forests, but it's not just like an abrupt chain. It's like you can see the reason why it's kind of transition and like in the distance, and
Okay.
it's not so harshly segregated.
I feel like a lot of the shit you're describing is like in the details. I don't know what I'm supposed to visualize.
Well, like say where you're looking at now, like Genshin here.
Okay.
There's
I don't know which direction I should be looking at. There
no,
would be
just
the laser.
like the desert landscape or whatever.
Sure.
So they have something like basically very similar looking to this in
Tumbleweed.
Zandalar.
Okay.
It's like a huge, massive zone, and like
Huge, massive. Huh? That's pretty
it's
impressive.
like a big desert and stuff. But it transitions
Rebuilt by royal decree.
into a zone that's kind of, it's like a forest, but it's kind of getting corrupted and stuff. And they have all these kind of like transitionary areas in between them, like main borders, which kind of make it feel a bit more logical that these places are in the right place and that it's not just
Hold the line.
like each zone is just some kind of
Oz revealed
some
by
crazy shit happened there, and that's why it's like bright red and covered in fire, and the next zone is like a swamp, and the next zone is like mountainous. They kind of they're like designing the continents, not designing the zones.
Okay.
That's kind of what it feels like.
I remember
So
liking certain ideas in World of Warcraft, but then they didn't play out in a way that I actually liked. Like you have the scar in the Blood
Yeah.
Elves region,
Hmm.
and it's like I really like the idea of like the undead just like having such a damaging warpath that you just like corrupted the very ground they walked on. It looked like they almost just like rammed into the side of the city, but It just looks so ugly and so janky in Nanjing. It just doesn't play out well.
And because it's like it seems to persist, but it's like it seems so like it's so harsh, right? That it's like in the same way that you see like say someone's like blown up a building. Like after a while, people would like clear up the rubble. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it's like the scar just seems
So,
it's there.
so it has a level of recentness that doesn't feel like it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the scar wasn't it like? Wasn't it literally because that's where like the Lich King walked?
Maybe. I don't know what the exact reason is. Like, I swear to God, there was a full-blown attack with undead there, but
So yeah, like Arthas invaded that city.
as you do.
So like he led the like army through up to there. So like it's not just like some undead went on a rampage. It's like the Lich King just fucking like walked through the woods and just like
Good for
fucked
him.
shit up.
And that's all it
This is
takes.
a thrill of adventure.
Yeah, but then it, so like it kind of there's logic to why it's still kind of corrupted, but it doesn't seem like
Rest and rebuild.
like we saying about this sort of the recentness of it and the kind of
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like it's reached some kind of like biological equilibrium. It's almost as if the Lich King was just there, like literally, he's like just left.
Yeah.
So this
I'm
is a
just
thrill
going
of
to change
adventure.
subject.
Yeah, what was the thing you were going to talk about? Like you said, oh, I thought of something to talk about.
Like a friend of mine unexpectedly just like brought up the topic of trans issues during like a dinner I had with them recently, and like I hadn't seen them in ages, and like I almost like spat out my food. I was like, whoa. And like he says some shit like, oh, my girlfriend says said a point that I really agreed with. I thought it was a really good point. And then I hear it, and I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus, no.
What was it?
Where it's basically like, oh,
You should round them up.
like basically that women don't get to have womanhood for themselves or some shit like that. I'm like, and I was sitting there like thinking like that is such like a vague spiritual argument that means nothing. It's like, yeah, okay, but sure, and manhood belongs to man, but what does that mean in practical terms? That we like we just maintain our position at the top of the hierarchy arbitrarily because this is ours and we want it to remain ours. Like it can play out in so many weird ways when you make those sort of arguments, like, which is why I always try to put things in practical terms. But I was just like, I don't know how to navigate this now because like all my points are like very aggressive. Like I can't make them unaggressive because they're like the points are so fucking direct that it just I don't know how to not make you look stupid when I make them, sort of.
Because it seems like a lot of like that point that your friend made is like a lot of
Well, technically his girlfriend, but him saying like I thought that was a really good point. Just makes you go, why?
because you get this common point where people say, so you're a woman and there's like trans women want to be treated like women, but trans women haven't gone through the same struggles as women. Like they don't deal with the same struggles as women. Like they don't have periods.
He brought that shit up, and then he talked about like women in Iran like really have to fight for their freedom right now. Is like something he brought up, and I'm just saying like, yeah, but most women here in Norway don't do that. So are they no longer women? Like, where do you set the line? Like, it just creates these weird fucking issues with it.
I feel like they don't want to be like say, so like his girlfriend is like, I'm a woman. But then if this other person says they're a woman, it means we are like similar. And then And it's like in their mind, they're like, "There's no way we can be similar because you're not
Sorry, I just
you're
checked my
trans."
stream again. I got distracted by the fact that I had a streamer for a millisecond. No, I had a viewer for a millisecond. I think that's when I was away at the toilet, which was perfect timing, by the way. Sorry, you were saying?
It's like they don't want to be compared and like equal to that. So like, a woman is like, okay, this trans woman. If she calls herself a woman, that means we're like the same. Like we are both women.
Yeah,
but like she doesn't want to be
really
compared
weird how...
like that.
Yeah, but like they start to put themselves in on a linear scale there all of a sudden, which they don't do to other women, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly.
like suddenly you can measure womanhood, but you wouldn't do this against like any other woman.
No. You wouldn't be like, I'm more of a woman than you. Like you both, have vaginas and whatever.
Yeah,
It's like,
and like this whole shit about like, oh, like I've earned my womanhood or whatever. How the like what the fuck do you mean? Like it reminds me of when people talk about like video games and shit. It's like, oh, you haven't earned nerdhood because you
you didn't play
because
classic.
yeah, like when like it wasn't cool to be a nerd when I was young, so you don't get to be a nerd now, and like it's stolen valor, like that, like that's the sort of attitude. I was like, it's so fucking weird, and like that's the sort of response that I had like during this conversation. So I was like, I don't know how to fucking navigate my way around this in like a good way, but I also don't want to like nod my head along with this shit because this shit seems wild. And it's like I could tell like the second I started like giving any sort of pushback, they didn't expect it. Like I had two friends there. One of them like was more accepting of it than the other, but it's like it was funny seeing how I started like darting around. My own included, by the way, because I didn't know how to fucking handle that shit either. It's just funny.
When people try and conflate the same, like.
But like, I get, like, you know what I mean? Like that fucking attitude of stolen valor. That's really weird. Like, why does that keep getting like brought up in that way?
But you get things like when people make, the arguments of like men in women's sports, like trans women in women's sports.
Oh yeah, that got like sorry. Like we basically like went rapid fire through some of the talking points. So like I didn't get to address like half of them. So like that shit about women's sport was just like, oh, how the fuck do I even begin this shit? Because you have like a small fraction of the trans community actually advocating for this, while you have like the larger portion of the trans community trying to remain silent because they don't want the attention. And like there's only like trans women in sports that benefit from like competing with cis women in those categories, right? They're the only ones benefiting from this. Everyone else gets fucked because they don't like seeing people with clear advantages shit on others in that in those sports categories, and like the entire trans community gets dragged into it. So it's like it's incredibly selfish. But it seems like a lot of the trans community advocate for this because they're the ones who are like loud on Twitter, and there's this mass I don't know, like there's this expectation of having a collective agreement on this topic. So like people feel obligated to just agree with every trans issue that gets brought up. Like if trans people want it, they get it. Like that's the attitude. Like it doesn't matter what the fuck it is. They want to kill babies, they can kill babies. Anyway. I think we're on a slightly different subject.
Like, was that because when you came back initially, you were like, "Oh, I thought another topic." Was this the topic you were thinking of?
Brace yourselves.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I just thought it was funny when this got brought up. And like, like my first instinct was just fucking why. Do you have a dog in this race? Why are we talking about it of all people? Like this is like never been brought up, and all of a sudden, hey, trans people.
Here we go.
As like, it especially feels weird because I don't have the attitude that I'm supposed to have an opinion on a lot of things. So like I must prefix everything that I say with like my level of ignorance. Whereas like if we're gonna start talking about astrophysics, I'm just like I've read up on some very specific things, but I have probably pretty massive gaps. So like my level of my ability to engage with any of this is probably gonna fluctuate to massive degrees, and I just like bring that up like pretty much immediately. But it doesn't seem like most people have that instinct or habit or desire, so it's just like
By royal decree.
it sort of colors the conversation in a way where I'm just like, I don't know how confident you feel about any of the things that you're saying, and that makes it hard for me to gauge like how hard I should be pushing back. Are you there? I'm not sure if you like mute yourself because you're turned like completely quiet. Hey, there you are. You there? Isaac-chan? I heard you breathing. What is happening?
Hmm?
Are you there? What
Yeah,
is happening?
so I just kind of zoned out for a second.
Yeah, Publishing House has released.
For a while. What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you falling asleep?
Maybe.
Was my voice so soothing?
I think I was like thinking, also thinking that I was like talking. I was like
You were
thinking in my
thinking?
head, but like not realizing that I was silent in the sense of like just the long pause. I was just thinking
were
in
you
my
having
head.
like a conversation in your head? Is that basically
No,
what you're saying?
I was just thinking like I was like thinking of like what I'm gonna talk about.
Oh, okay.
But it's like I didn't have the concept of like that there's a silence.
Okay.
I guess, yeah.
It seemed like you just had a fucking lapse. Like you lost consciousness for a second. You were like
Yeah,
completely gone. I couldn't get any response out of you. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I'm probably too tired.
Fair enough.
Did I have?
Your response?
That's another thing. I can. There's something I was gonna similar to what just happened. Maybe like something else I was talk about where I have recurring like bad dreams when I'm like
Recurring.
halfway conscious. Like so like now where I'm kind of like.
Oh yeah, I mean that's usually when I dream. Like if I'm fully asleep, I don't usually dream, but I have like
By
these.
royal decree.
I've called them liquid thoughts, basically.
Yeah, but then it's like I'm actually like. It's
You're
not that
fully
like
dreaming?
I'm
No.
asleep. It's not like I was asleep and then woke up for a bit and went back. It's like I'm awake, and
Okay. What is this? Yeah.
I'm like falling asleep, but then like having the dream.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm more awake than I am asleep. Like I start awake, and then I kind of go back to sleep, and then I kind of wake up again. So it's like a little blip. It's like a little leftover bit of sleep. I'm like getting like pulled into.
It's usually in the mornings that I have like
Yeah,
these
yeah.
weird dreams. Whereas like I've woken up, but I'm too tired, so like I just lie there and then like halfway fall asleep. But I don't really
like-
go into deep sleep, so it's like pointless. But yeah,
For me, they're always like bad.
honestly, usually for me too.
But like,
When I dream, it's like it's something that usually ends up with me jolting awake by the end of it. It's
Yeah.
just
I get this constant one where like I'm like in a threatening situation, like
Mhm.
there's someone standing over me or like behind me or in the room, and then like they're like tending to hurt me, and like I can't stop them. It's like I try and swing at them, and my arms like are like super weak. Like they just like
Oh yeah. Okay. I was like try headbutting. For some reason, like punching things never works in your dreams, and apparently it's because you have like a blanket on top of you, or like your movement's restricted, like
Yeah, that sounds
when you
about
sleep.
right.
So, yeah, it's like it's really weird. But apparently, like what you're supposed to do is try and suplex the man instead, or like do some grappling. you,
Yeah.
you,
But
you
it's
can't
like,
do like snapping movement when you're asleep.
but I also
It's
have
really
I have
fucking
where,
weird.
like where my like reactions are really slow. So like the one I had a few days ago,
Huh.
it's weird because the Russian was in it, which is kind of interesting.
Dude, it sounds like your nemesis at this point with that
I
naming
know.
convention and the
Yeah.
context.
Yeah, I
I
call it
saw the
like the
Russian
Russian
image.
flower or something. I don't know.
I can't wait for you to go to the fucking KGB museum and have recurring nightmares
Yeah.
after that.
But it's like so the like because recently I spent like a lot of time at her place, right? And
Oh my god. My they got an autocomplete of my brain. Like you came to her and I was just like, peace? Her peace?
her place, right?
Yeah.
And so the dream is like it's kind of like I'm in a I'm in like a building, and it's kind of like a weird mix between like her place and somewhere else. So it feels like it's like I don't know what it feels like comfortable, like it's like her place, but the layout of the room isn't exactly the same, but it's like very similar. It's like a weird. It's not really relevant, but it's like we're somewhere where like it's like my house or her house or something. It's like or like a hotel or like we're on holiday and we're in this like villa or something. So we're in this like um the room. It's like a very open room. It's like hardwood floor and it's like a few sofas and that's it. Like it's kind of almost like a living room, right?
No.
But there's like it's connected to the outside because like her place, her
I don't know if you mean your dream or her house at the moment. Is
the
that
dream,
really
the
okay?
dream.
The dream. Okay.
This is all a dream. So the room, it's like
Like right now?
Hold the line.
the room in the dream.
Pause for
Yeah. Okay.
So in the room in the dream, it's like you've
I need
got
to stop saying things to fuck with you because it fucks
yeah,
the pacing so much. Sorry.
right, exactly. So so like imagine it's like a living room that's like in front of the garden. Like there's like a door to the garden, right?
Okay.
And then there's just like a sort of sitting area in front of that. But
Mhm.
the way where she lives now, like this is me talking about describing her actual place, right? She her room is like the building she's in is like a converted it used to be like an assisted living place or like an old folks home or something, right? So some of the
Converted.
rooms are kind of yeah. So her room it has a
Wait, her
door.
old place used to be.
No, a place she's out now.
Okay, used to. Okay. The used
Where
to
she's
part confused to me for some reason.
okay, where she's living now. So
Yeah.
like her
Yeah.
room, it's
Yeah.
like normal room, size room, but it has a door to like the hallway. But
Uh-huh.
also like a door that leads to like a courtyard outside.
Yep.
Okay. So in the dream, the room we're in, like it only has it's like it only has one door leading outside, and that door leading outside is like a courtyard or out into the it's open to the public almost, right? It's like it's not like our private garden. It's like a courtyard or the street or something, right?
Okay.
And it's covered with like a white those kind of like white curtains where they're sort of transparent but you can't really see
Sorry,
through them.
can I pause you for a second?
Mm.
Remember how we talked about multitasking and using different parts of your brain?
Hmm.
You're asking me to do visualizations, and I'm trying to navigate a 3D space, and I'm
Yeah.
realizing that this is like real fucking with me.
Okay.
Like,
But-
yeah, go on.
Well, it's just like
White curtains.
it's like you have these kind of like sun curtains that are like mosquito curtains where they're like
I guess.
thick white curtains that let light through but you can't see through the curtain.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like it obscures. You can't see through it, but it's like lets light in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the room we're in. The dream starts with like almost kind of it feels like we're getting ready to leave, or like go somewhere, or like we've just got home from somewhere, but it's like daytime, right?
Mhm.
So we're kind of just standing in that room, and she's near that door that leads to the outside, right?
Mhm.
And she's like moving, and then she's like moving away from it towards me and like more into the room, right? And I notice like a strange like movement of the curtain. It's not like wind, it's almost like someone's like foot or something's like touching the curtain,
Oh,
right?
that's my nephew fucking with you. He loves hiding behind curtains.
Right. So it's like, but like, so I see a movement and I'm like, that's not the wind, right?
Mhm.
But I'm just looking at it, and then she like walks over to it, and like my mind just goes like panic, right? Just to that point, as she's getting like, she's like near the curtain, and I like shout, like, get away from the curtain,
I'm gonna get
and
down.
like, yeah, like, just but like I'm like an oncoming car is like coming at her, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
like
like,
really
get,
dramatic.
yeah, like get away from the curtain. Um, and basically what happens is I say get away from the curtain, and between
But
me
my
and her,
body's
like
telling me yes.
another one of these like white curtains sort of like goes in front of me,
Huh?
sort of
Wait, what?
out of nowhere, right?
A curtain like blows past your vision.
Yeah, it's like as if like say I'm standing
You're
in like
getting
a
trapped.
hallway.
Yeah.
Like say I'm in a hallway looking into the room, right?
Right.
And like it's almost like another curtain that covers the doorway like fell across the where I'm looking, right? So my vision of her becomes a bit obscured. Like I see her silhouette now, right?
Hmm.
In the room. So it's like I'm looking into the room through a sort of slightly transparent curtain. But it happens at the moment of when I yell at her like, get away from the door, right?
So it's like you're getting kidnapped. It's like it's trying to prevent you from communicating with her.
It's like yeah, exactly. And like what I see is her silhouette, and she's like running away from the door, and then like a figure is like chasing her. They've like come in the house.
You should
Right.
just make a dream diary
Yeah. And so it's like,
and sell the right at some point, apparently.
and it's like, so I'm seeing her silhouette getting like, someone's like attacking her, like only I see her like running, and then someone getting close to her, like grabbing her.
And it wasn't
And
wearing
like,
your clothes.
I just see a silhouette.
Okay.
I just know it's a guy. It's like bigger than her, so it's a guy.
You're bigger than her.
Right. She's like, that's what. Yeah, but she's quite tall, so like, it's a bigger guy, right?
Okay.
But all I feel is this like, I feel like I'm like, they're moving at normal speed, and I've been like slowed down.
Oh yeah, I definitely had like dreams of sluggishness where it's like you can't fucking move or do anything.
I can't. Yeah, and it's like my voice is like failing, and like I can't. I'm like all the power in my body is like disappearing.
Dude, you're like in the optimal situation. Like you have to like run in order to like do some shit. When you're getting chased, motherfucker, when you're moving through butter.
But then for me, it just felt like it's like all I felt was that I'm not going to be able to stop anything that happens to her. That's just all I felt. I'm just like,
yeah, you got the dream insight. You know what's going to happen, even though there's like no indication for it.
yeah, it's like she's in trouble and needs my help, and I'm just like frozen in place and like can't do anything. And like, I can't even see it. I can't even see her properly. It's like obscured.
Damn shame. If only could have seen.
It's like, but then it's like the same like strength of the feeling I had from that experience, like of that dream,
Okay.
was like the same I felt. I had that dream of the guy getting like disfigured and I get that weird like physical sensation in my face.
Okay, do you did you develop a new physical sensation?
No, I didn't. But
Did you
then
develop spidey senses?
no, but like
Okay.
it felt more emotional than like. Remember, I had that dream about the two women and one turns into a duck and flies away. Like,
Beautiful.
yeah, like that.
How
I
every
didn't
story should end.
like. I knew what was happening,
Think you can get
and I could
away?
understand the feelings of everyone in the dream, but I didn't
By
feel
royal
it.
decree.
Right? It was
Okay.
like I'm watching a movie.
Becomes
But like
the hunted.
that one, it felt like I was actually there. It's like that is something that happened to me,
Okay.
or it's like I'm like it's like a vision of the future sort of thing.
Okay.
So it's like because it's more realistic. It's more because I'm sort of because I'm sort of like half awake. There's no like insane shit because it feels more like a thought and like me like when you sort of think back of a memory you've had. Like
Yeah.
that's what it felt like. It's like
And so the way you were starting through that was really fun. It's
so like
sorry, give me a second. You were saying it was like
it's like that dream is like an experience I had. It's not a dream. It's like a memory.
it is how it felt.
Yeah. So like in my so I was
Makes
like
perfect sense.
the feeling was like she's like in danger. Like right now. Like when I woke up, she's like I'm worried about it. Like I'm like why did I not help her? Or like why did I
You
let
really
that
let her
happen?
down. Yeah, you really let her
like
down
I
this
let her
time. I was
down.
like, why?
Yeah, that's what it feels. So
You
it's like
monster.
it's so weird, like having that.
Sure.
I had another weird experience today.
Isaac, how many are you gonna throw at me?
Uh,
Save them for
Just-
tomorrow. Jesus Christ,
do you
go to
remember?
bed.
Well, no, I might as well. I'm awake now.
Okay, welcome back.
But it's like it's fresh in my mind, so it's better to say it, I guess.
Okay, it seems like you had an aneurysm earlier due to your lack of sleep, so just gonna
I
remind you
just,
of that.
yeah, I just gonna own it. Okay, but so I think I've described to you before, but like when I'm like I have an idea for something, or I like solve a problem with like a TV show idea I have, or
Mhm.
I like figure something out. I get this like strong
You-
feeling.
You get whatever the opposite of your face melting is.
Yeah, I get like the kind of physical sensation of like really happy, like joy.
Cool.
Like, have I explained that to you? I think I must have said it before.
Maybe, and I think I couldn't relate, and I felt sad.
It was like this like overwhelming like joy feeling. It's like I can't stop like it forces me to like laugh. It's like
That's a bit much.
it's but like I can't control it. It's like I'm so happy that I've like
Can you?
solved it. Right? But like
Okay.
the only time I ever get that feeling is it's like
So
solving
this is the thrill of adventure.
what I thought it was is like solving a problem, like coming up with an idea related to
Let's go.
like my own creations, you know, like
Something about that phrasing is also funny.
because
Creations.
it's like solving a problem with my ideas for like a TV show or a story, right?
Mhm.
It's only ever happened when it's not like I was making a spreadsheet at work and I like solved the problem and like I felt like it was always related to solving a problem in something that I cared about, right?
Mhm.
I guess. Or it's like, but that's always been like a story idea, right? Exclusively, it's just been for like my story ideas. But then like today, when I was thinking about the anime recommendations for that
You
woman
had new
I
ideas?
saw, I like, because I was trying to like tell her the film, but also like send a little like a GIF or like an image that I thought like described it or like
Okay,
might
but
make her think.
before you go on, can you just for the stream tell her full name and address?
What? So, cut
Say
out.
your for the stream. Could you just say your full name and address?
No, fuck off. um, but it's like I found like a good image that like really explained like it's like a little gif of like a little shot of the movie, and it's like it does like it shows like kind of what the movie's about in a nice way, and it's like interesting and a good thing to like say. Like when you're recommending the movie, I'm like, this little image gives you a good impression of what it'll be like. And I like finding that image and thinking that it's a really good
No, my sword.
thing to send her
Brace
because
yourself.
it'll give her a good impression of the movie and make her sort of want to watch the movie.
Time for takeoff.
It's like I had that same sensation.
By just recommending her.
Like finding that image
Okay.
because I thought
starting to lose
it would
count.
really help and like I
It
thought it
was
would
like
really
you finding a solution.
yeah, it's like because or it's like the idea of it because it would be such a good representation of how much I enjoyed the movie and like why I'm recommending it. It helped push the like my positive feelings about that movie. But the feeling I had was also that like I think like it would make her happy to watch the film, right? So I had that same like uncontrollable like laughter thing. But for me, it was strange because it wasn't related at all in any way to like one of my story ideas, but it was still related to a good idea or like a solution.
Yeah, it seems really vague.
I know, like, so it makes a lot of sense to me, and it's like interesting to me, but it's like it's hard to. It's like maybe say you have a metaphor of like
You are Rupert Fairfax.
like you love like say you love playing football, and like every time you score a goal in football,
You can find
you
something
like
less relatable, but go ahead.
Gliding be faster?
like no, it's just an analogy of the like comparison. It's like you love scoring goals in football, right? And every time you score
Sure.
a goal in football, it's great. But say you play another sport, anything else, you don't give a shit. Like you score a goal, you don't get the same feeling as when you play football, right? But then you like
What's that?
what's a pretty good analogy? Like
Go on.
you.
Rain outlines your face.
It's
Gather.
solution, but not the same subject. Like, say you take a cooking class and you bake a really good cake.
Ah, dude. No,
And
that's
you, like,
relatable.
You feel that same feeling, right? It's like,
When I become the bake master.
oh no, or it's like you. The better analogy is like compared to what I'm thinking. It's like you're doing like
I have no idea what you're thinking.
okay. Say you play football, and every time you score a goal, you feel like really happy about it. But every time you play any other sport or anything like that, you don't give a shit, right?
Sure.
And then say you go to a escape room and you solve one of the puzzles to help everyone get out of the escape room, and you feel the same feeling, right? And so because what you thought initially was like, okay, I love football so much, that's why I like scoring, right? But in reality, it was more that you're like helping the team win the game.
Okay.
Right. So in the escape room, it's like you solved a little puzzle, like scoring the goal, but then it helps you finish the escape room and everyone wins, and like the team wins.
Okay, so what's the connective tissue from the previous actual important shit, Isaac?
What do you mean important shit? Like my feeling, like what
Why the hell?
happened to me?
Yes. Why the hell was that situation comparable to you getting a story idea or
Because it's
making
like
something fit?
it's like solving a problem, or like getting a good idea that will like get across. Like
Surely you solved other problems before
no, but
and not
it's
had the
not
same
like
reaction.
it's about the expressing myself and like because I find my stories a way for me to like express myself,
Sure.
and me finding a perfect image that gets across why I like this movie. It's like it's like me showing someone else, or it's like a way that they'll better understand what like my enjoyment of the film,
Mm-hmm.
and like so they'll understand my personality better. That's how it felt. It's like me
You
being
feel
able
like
to like
so
me being able
it's
to like effectively communicate and express myself to somebody. So like
Certainly
like
worth the extra
so
money.
making a story that's better, that gets across my ideas better, is like me expressing myself and people understanding me more, right?
so what it's actually more about connecting with people. Like
Right, yeah. It's like I feel like me being able to show why I'm recommending this film gets across
Yahoo!
like
exactly
they'll
that.
be
Why
able to
recommending this
connect.
film?
Yeah, like they'll be able to connect better with me and understand me more.
Okay.
So it's like gay, like having that, which is because I've never
You
had
should
that
say
like
gay.
I don't know what.
It's just like that. Gay.
But then the thing is like when I'm writing the stories, the
Mhm.
people that are going to see the stories, it's like a large, massive audience, right? It's not a particular person that I'm doing
Yeah.
it for.
That's
It's
what you
like
say, anyway.
it's like I'm expressing myself to the world. It's like the world will understand me better, right? Whereas this time it's like one person.
And isn't that
It's like
enough, Isaac?
no, but it's right. It's like interesting that it's almost like that I care that they understand me.
You're in love again, Isaac. Stop it. Just give it up, Isaac. You
Yeah.
can't stop falling in love.
Why?
Just like the Elvis
Yeah.
song.
It's just like it's like new experiences, but then they're not just they're like I can't just enjoy them. I have to like analyze them. They're like
Sure.
I don't know. It's
But
just it's
Isaac,
kind of odd.
Isaac, that's just two birds in one stone.
Yeah. But then it's almost like it's kind of
Yes.
because I'm so used to like throwing myself into shit and like having to constantly like trying to figure out my own bloody brain all the time.
Uh-huh.
It's like I don't feel like I have any stability. It's like I think I know who I am, and then I think I'm like I can understand and act in a way that is like content with myself, and then it's like oops, something else you don't get, and you don't understand why you react certain ways. It's like weirdly like I'm not on edge, but I'm like unpredictable, which is kind of weird. It's like my own brain is like my own thinking is
And all
unpredictable,
the more
which is like odd.
valuable for
Wait, what do you mean? What you thinking is
Like-
unpredictable?
Like
And
say I feel content and comfortable and like confident when I'm doing things, and it's like I have an experience where it's like I don't understand why I'm feeling what I'm feeling,
Dude,
or like it's a
I
new
think that one of the most frustrating things is realizing that Sometimes I just feel things and there's like literally no goddamn reason. Like sometimes I just wake up and like I'm just in a mood and I was like, not having reasons for shit is incredibly frustrating when you're the type of person who needs that. Like you need things to make sense.
And that's me. But then because I'm like throwing myself into fucking crazy shit all the time, it's like I'm always like second guessing or like I always have that like uncertainty. Like I don't understand. I need to understand, but I don't because it's like the Russian and she's like inviting me on holiday, and then this other person, and I'm like teaching kids at school, and I'm like these kids are all crazy, and it's like
isn't it funny noticing how much people get through in life without knowing diddly shit or understanding diddly shit?
Yeah.
This is like it's hard to keep that shit in mind, but that is absolutely the case.
It's like I feel like some people like. So it's like for me, it's like I say I have like the emotions and the experience, but then I like analyze it after, and then I can better control or manage my behavior or sort of understand my behavior, or like say I realize that someone might like the little kids that are lying to me, they're not being like malicious, they're just sort of it's like a coping mechanism or something, right? It's like I can understand that because I've like thought about
it might not even be that. Like when you're a kid, like you develop all kinds of habits for completely illogical reasons sometimes, or the logic isn't immediately apparent. So it's like it might be a coping mechanism. It's just like
but then
you just like sometimes you just like try things out and like you keep doing them because somebody tells you not to. Not with this. It's like you just do things because there's a lot of randomness in your brain. Is how it seems at the point. I don't know how else to describe it.
Then
it's like unless somebody takes like active action to stop you from doing it, then you just keep doing certain things, which is really weird.
Yeah, and like, so what I'm thinking is like, do a lot of people kind of miss that last step where they're like, they act on their experience and they kind of behave and do things based on their emotions, right? They don't question their own reaction to things. So like, say they got pissed off at somebody. It's like they got pissed off, and it's like there's no question that the other person made them pissed off. It's not like they misinterpreted or like the little kids lying to you.
Oh, like the rigidity of their thinking and like the certainty behind their understanding, like that reaches like unfathomable levels to me sometimes.
Yeah, it's like the little kid lying to them because it's a lie and lies are bad. It's like the kid is choosing to be bad, right?
The
it's
kid
like
is evil.
So people go around like they have like more rigid definitions of like people's actions. Like someone like
oh dude, like that's actually a pretty good summary. Like some people unironically have the narrow understanding that this is how it is. Only bad people do bad things.
Right.
It's not like you can ever like put a person in a situation where they're otherwise like a person who's usually good in a situation where they will now start doing more morally shady things. It's like that concept is like completely impossible for some people to understand. It's like they seem so sheltered when I see shit like that. It's like, how can you fucking think this way? Like you must have borderline no life experience if you believe some of this shit.
Yeah, it's like because it's just from dealing with all these kids. It's like that girl who cheats on a test. It's like she's not doing it because she's lazy or doesn't care or whatever. She's like she does it because she doesn't understand how to answer.
She's fucking evil.
Right, but so like I'm thinking like adults who like think in a similar way like that, where it's like
What, that kids are fucking evil? What do you mean?
no, that they have that like rigidity to like any lie means that the person who lies is evil. If they cheat, they are
That means they're a cheater and they're evil.
Like they're maliciously doing it, right? It's like,
Yeah, a lot of people.
or like how I think when people don't reply to my text straight away, that means they must not like me anymore.
Yeah, like
It's like,
I
yeah.
judge people pretty harshly based on shit like this. Sometimes when I get shit thrown in my face or like people jump to conclusions, and like these days I have the tendency of like throwing in their face like, oh, is this the only possible interpretation?
Yeah.
Like, if you seriously lack the imagination to imagine there being any other possible reason behind an action, then it's like, okay, then I don't have the patience to engage. Go talk to someone else.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna do all this work for you, big.
Yeah.
I just don't have the patience for it.
Yeah. For some
Hey,
reason I
Isaac.
had this. Yeah. What were you saying? Hey,
Look at this pretty sand. Look at this pretty sand. Look, I can
all
walk
blue.
around in it. I can draw in it, and it's sparkly. It's nice. I like it.
I remember like just thinking like about this, like not being able to fathom that someone's actions weren't what you think they were based on. It's like I remember this weird thing when I was like 15 or 16 or something like that. Like I had like a girlfriend, but not really. Like
You had.
yeah, it was like she lived far away, and it was like girlfriend, but then it did nothing ever really happened. Well,
Yeah,
so I was
but
like 15.
when you're
She
young, like
wa-
what the fuck a girlfriend means is like absolute
Right, exactly.
nonsense.
Yeah. So like
Time for
her
takeoff.
name was, I'm not gonna say. Okay, so she had. Let's say her name
And
was.
don't say name, of course.
Here we go.
Say her name is like
Jezebelda.
Rosie.
Isaac,
I don't know.
I just gave you the best fucking name. She's Jezebelda.
Okay, Jezebelda. So Jezebelda, and that's her name. But then also like there's some other guy.
Obviously,
like a
that's her
name-
name. What else would you call her?
Like so the name is like androgynous. It's like it's like Sam, right? It's like it could be a guy or a girl, right?
Yeah, like anybody could be named Jezebelda. Like that's a fucking
Right.
amazing name. Why
But
wouldn't
that
you call
doesn't.
your kid that?
But that, like part of the story is the fact that the name is like androgynous. Okay.
Okay, sure.
So like, say Sam, right? So her name was Sam,
Okay.
and then I'm like chatting to someone on
Brace
like
yourself.
Xbox, like Xbox messages. Like this is how fucking old this is. Like you send someone a message on Xbox.
Fucking loser. Who the hell uses that?
So
shit?
so she had an Xbox, but she never used it, right?
Okay.
And so I see Sam come online, and I go, "Oh, I didn't know. I thought you never used your Xbox, right?"
Body and mind.
So I'm chatting to Sam as if she's my like girlfriend, right?
Okay.
But like the Sam is actually just some guy in my class at school who also plays Xbox.
That's
So it's like I'm thinking
Body
I'm
and
talking to my girlfriend, but it's actually just some guy in my class at school. And like his responses was like, I thought I was almost being like cheeky and like flirty or something. And then his responses are just kind of like friendly. But then I'd never really spoken to him very much ever.
Let's light it up.
And it was,
okay.
it's so fucking weird to think like that could have gone so fucking weird. Like I could have like,
If you realize that you're actually goddamn gay.
I realized sort of halfway through that like he wasn't her. And I'm like, I just stopped replying and like,
Okay, but you didn't notice based on the voice either.
no, it was like text. It's like written messages on Xbox.
Oh.
Like you send
Oh,
text.
okay.
That's why it was like weird. Like I thought it was her. So
You
because I just saw the
fucking
name
loser.
Sam, and I'm like,
Isaac,
oh, it's Sam.
Yeah, don't you realize you're gay now? You're about as gay as Sam from Lord of the Rings, who took
Exactly.
Frodo's massive load.
But that's what I mean in terms of like misconstruing and like that's a mistake I made, and it's like you can understand that it's like I didn't intend to do that, and it's like like you could. That's like when people read other people's actions, it's like, oh, they're being malicious or evil or arrogant or whatever. But then it's completely something different. And it's like, but then people never give a chance to like try and understand. They don't be like, they won't say like, did you mean to do that? Or like,
No, it's why did you do that?
Rebuild.
what? Yeah, like you
So it's just
were
stuff.
like, yeah, why are you being mean and like cutting in line in front of me? And it's like, when in reality the guy was already in line, like someone was saving his space, right? And it's like,
I mean, it's really funny seeing people have such a different attitude where, like, I always assume that there's something I'm misunderstanding about the situation.
Yeah,
And some
same.
people are like the complete opposite.
yeah. They just assume everyone's fucking against them or like
Yeah,
trying
so-
to get one up on
Okay,
them. Or
so
something.
like, you remember what I said about having a conversation with my friends earlier this weekend, and like, yeah, something being brought up. I was just like, I let them talk for a while. So I was like, I don't understand why you have this opinion, so I'm just gonna let you talk until I have a better understanding of where the fuck you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why I didn't get to like address half the shit, because I was like, there's gotta be something I'm misunderstanding here, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're thinking like just the kind of
That's why I've said that sometimes it feels like I'm too patient in some contexts.
yeah.
Or sometimes I wonder, like, should I have spoken up earlier? Or should...
Yeah.
And
Well,
how much
like-
should I antagonize my friend and say, like, yeah, whoa, buddy, you need to be a pro-trans ally. Woo, finger guns.
Then it's like you think that, but I question my own like
Sanity.
their capability of altering their thinking. Like, say they might be fixed in that thought. It's like he's like not a trans ally or whatever. So like, if I give him logical reasons why what he was saying is like stupid or wrong, but then he won't be able to like be able to be like, oh, okay, like I get you. I like my mind's changed now. Like I kind of realize I was wrong. It's more they just like
No, he'll immediately go there. He's
double down.
I
and,
only
yeah,
make friends with the best people. Okay,
yeah. It's like they just they kind of find a way to ignore what you're saying, or like in their
Like,
mind, it's like they kind of get away from it.
but I don't have a lot of patience for those type of people, so I like to think that I choose better friends than that. But
Yeah.
I actually considered like bringing the topic back up later, just because I am curious about why they think that, and like, yeah, try and explain where the hell I'm coming from, because like, I don't think I should make the assumption that they've also like seen statistics for trans suicide and like all the shit that they're going through, and how there's like a pretty strong dichotomy between trans people online and people who like try to hide their existence almost until they can be accepted and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. Like, because again, it's like I think my usual assumption or my like instinctual thought is that people think like me, right? Or it's like
Sorry, like if you look at my stream, I almost had an aneurysm seeing what just happened. Like I couldn't process me like slamming into a ceiling and then seeing the chest underneath me. Like, what the fuck is this? Are we still watching?
yeah, you like you above it.
Yeah, fucking cool effect. It reminds me of Super Mario or something.
Was it like invisible walls?
Yeah, it sure was. I finally got
That
around
was
it.
weird.
That fucked with my brain so good.
Yeah,
so,
I'm like, you're like flying, like it's like
Yeah,
see
but
through, but then what? The
yeah,
fuck?
but it's like the sense of depth was also really weird. So I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, am I actually touching it? I'm standing directly on top of the chest. Is this a mirage? What am I?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
No, it's just it's like it's like say someone says something and you disagree and you have like a logical response. It's like you just say it at them, and it's like, because if someone did that to me, I would be able to like take it in, and like it's kind of, I don't see it as confrontational. It's like if someone's like, oh, trans people, this and that, and then I give them a coherent point or whatever, it's like they think that I'm attacking them or like trying to make them look stupid or trying to embarrass them or like belittle them. Whereas just, I feel like we're having a discussion.
Hmm.
But for them, it's almost like it's like a fight and like an argument or like there's some kind of intent behind it because I'm like questioning them.
Yeah, and it's frustrating sometimes because it feels like you can't make any statement or like present them with any piece of information because it contradicts them, and that'll like just by default be seen as hostile behavior. Like,
Yeah,
you
'cause
need to respect my authority.
Because you could also get situations where like a lot of what people say isn't like connected to them. Like, say you get, for example, like Jordan Peterson, right? It's like he might say something based on in like a psychological thing, like a psychological concept or idea, or like it's factually proved, right? But like, it's not like his idea. It's not like he's the creator of it. It's not
Yeah.
he's the only one that knows it. It's like a standard fact that exists. He's just telling you that it exists, right?
Yeah, so like for example, the a lot of his psychological recommendations and procedures and the self-authoring shit is based on like not just solid, but basically standard psychological understanding and procedure.
Yeah.
So like people who try to call him a snake oil salesman based on that, like you're calling the entire industry snake oil salesman at that point, like.
But then, because like,
so people who can't like disassociate people from ideas, take them down roads that are just fucking embarrassing to watch.
Yeah, it's like the disassociation between, like, if I was talking to somebody and it's like, oh, what do you think of this like idea, like psychological idea? And they're like, oh yeah, it's really good. And then I tell them, they're like, oh, where
Jordan
did you hear
Peterson
that?
made it.
It's like, yeah, Jordan Peterson there, and like a Jordan Peterson lecture or something, and they're like,
They fucking shriek
like,
at you until you
fuck
die.
you, yeah, like, oh my god, you like that guy? It's like, no, I don't really like, and I don't think anything about him. It's just the idea makes sense.
I think he dresses nicely on occasion.
Yeah. That's it. It's like
that's my level of emotional engagement with him.
it's like anything he says is like connected to him, and so if anything he says is right or correct or makes sense, then I must love him, right?
Yeah, that
Like
makes perfect sense.
I must think he's like a good person, or yeah, like has no faults, and yeah.
Okay, let me know when you get to the incorrect part.
Incorrect part.
Yeah, he's all of those things, right? So.
Oh yeah. That's why I love him so much. He did like a recent interview where he like cried in the like.
Can this man be stopped?
Yeah, like it's kind of. I'm trying to like understand. Like, he seems like super emotional.
Sorry, bro. Sometimes I just get emotional in it.
But like, he does like these like live streams where he like answers Q&As, and it's like a lot of the time you see him like tearing up and stuff. And it's like I understand his. Like the point is, like the things that make him cry, you kind of understand that it would make someone upset.
Hey,
But it's
I mean, wait. Sometimes he's not even upset. It's a touching moment. It's like it's a sentimental thing.
Yeah. Because like the recent one, it was like the interview asked some questions about like how people sort of belittle him or like attack him for talking to like men who are like, you know, ostracized from society.
Yeah, it's like I 100% agreed with him when he said like I'm done apologizing for trying to help men. It's like, yeah, the fact that he even has to say that is fucking insane.
And like that's in the recent one, it's like he's tearing up because he basically says that like, yeah, like why why is it such a bad thing that like I'm trying to help people that are
Struggling.
constantly like belittled and like made fun of, and like all they would need is like encouraging words, and it's like
That feels like old. I feel like I've heard that like way back.
no, it's like it's very recent.
Okay.
It's like it's the new like topic everyone's, because all the like people that don't like him are like making fun of him because he cried in the interview.
Yeah, but I feel
And,
like
like,
I've
showed
heard
emotion.
heard a lot of that shit almost verbatim. Like he's talked about people where like all they need to get through life is like a smidge of encouragement.
Yeah,
It's like this, and they've never gotten that throughout their entire life. I can understand that sentiment. Like that is.
because but then it's like more people talking about the kind of hypocritical nature of like these people that are like leftist and they're like always advocating for like
Body positivity shit like that, right? Yeah.
like, well, no, like mental wellness and like express yourself and don't like talk to people if you need mental health, like issues, and like express yourself and don't be afraid to like. And then Jordan Peterson has a bit of like emotion on stage, and it's like fucking crybaby, like little bitch, like little,
Yeah.
It's all women saying it as well, like, oh, he's a little crybaby, like,
Oh, why? I swear to God, like so many women specifically, are, like insanely out of touch with some of this shit.
Yeah.
Where like you have women like talk about body positivity, and then like in the next breath they shame like somebody for having small dick energy, some shit like that. It's like, why are you drawing attention to this? Like, I'm sorry, it's like body positivity exclusive to women. What the fuck is happening? I'm really fucking
Yeah, that's what it
confused.
seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like,
So this,
yeah, or preemptively calling people short before you even met them because being short should be illegal, I guess, or some shit. I don't know.
yeah, and it's like the body positivity.
Well, you went
seems
full
like
British there for a second. Positivity.
like they seem so like two-faced, where it's like anything that benefits them is good, and then anything benefits the people they don't like is bad. So it's like body positive is good, so they can be overweight and any shape they want because it's like it helps them feel better about themselves.
Yeah, like you had like thin shaming. It's like, oh, you're. Oh, what the fuck? Wait, sorry. What was like? Jesus Christ, the shit about Billie Eilish was really fucking funny because she seems to have a lot of like what was it called, like insight, self-reflection, like self-awareness, and like apparently a generally good understanding of people in general, because she predicted things like hardcore, where like she wore baggy clothes because she didn't want the attention to be about her body, and she knew that she would get insults the second that she did it.
Yeah.
And I think she also like predicted that she'd also get insults as soon as she started changing her body. So it's like, so she stopped wearing baggy clothes, and then they start talking about her tits, and then they talk about how she looks like a wine mom because she's like a little overweight, and then she slimmed down, and now she's getting body shamed for no longer being fat. It's like she's 3 for 3. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, this lady. Like, at least she seems like more stable than some other people who like get more attention than they need. Fucking, like this is part of why I'm like, I don't want fame. Like, I think like I like entertaining people. I like talking to people. I like that shit. But like actually having people's attention where they just talk in like with no filter is like fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that I have a really hard understanding it. This is like one of the things that I've related to like Schadenfreude as like a core concept, is how it's like socially acceptable to just shit on certain people and certain demographics and like even certain individuals. It's like the most go-to example I have is like Nickelback. Like It's like you can talk all the shit that you want about them, and nobody even like bats an eye. Nobody thinks it's even like slightly weird that people do this. It's like the level of social acceptance to shit on Nickelback. It's like fucking mind blowing. It's like it's weird if you don't, is what it seems like. It's like I listen to the music. I don't dislike it. Like, so how the fuck did we reach this point? It's like, okay, you know how people use like how people treat waiters as a gauge on to like whether or not they're good people.
Yeah.
I use this as a gauge because to me it's like it's about what do you think you can get away with? How do you treat people based on what you think is socially acceptable? Because if you just do things because it's socially acceptable, that says something about you. So like because it's socially acceptable to shit on Nickelback and you do it, then it's like I don't trust you to have my back if it's not socially acceptable. Like there's so much shit there that I might be reading too much into, but like I find thoroughly distasteful.
Yeah.
I was like, now there was a different person where like there was a actor who like just got shit on randomly. Where like what did they call it? Like he was the worst of the Chris's or some shit like that. Does that sound familiar?
Like Chris Pratt and like Chris
Yeah.
Evans and yeah.
And it's like it sounds funny as a meme, but then you actually look at what people were saying and like talking about his personal life and talking about how like he didn't care about his in like his first son who's like handicapped because of something that he said, and then he just goes and say, one day my kid might have to read that and think that I don't give a shit about him because of how all of you guys are painting me. Like that is fucking insane that people feel comfortable doing. It's absolutely bad shit. And again, people don't bat an eye. It's like, oh no, it's a meme. It's socially acceptable. People just fucking do it because other people are doing it. And how can I not realize how that might affect the person? Like, either they're so fucking socially inept that they failed the Turing test, so I wouldn't allow them on Twitter in the first place, or they're assholes that are, like, actually trying to harm people by saying shit like this, and I still wouldn't allow them on Twitter. I need them to, like, sort of get removed from existence one way or another.
I think I have to go now because I'm going to fall asleep.
Let's move out.
Really? That's all you're going to contribute here, Isaac? Come on.
Yeah, I'm like fading in and out.
By royal decree.
What phrasing? But fair enough.
Yeah. Alright.
Good night, Isaac. Sleep
See
tight.
you later.
I'll go to bed soon too, so I can't really
Oh,
judge.
I'm free tomorrow, so we'll do something.
Yeah, I'm still unsure about my own availability.
Oh yeah. Okay. Bye.
I'll probably be back at around 4 or 5 because, but
Yeah,
it
that's fine.
depends. We discussed like inviting ourselves to another part of the family, like just piggybacking on it of
no
each other.
worries.
Yeah, I'm just saying, FYI, if you
Yeah.
don't know why I'm here,
I'm
that's why.
waiting. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
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 I don't think I have the energy to talk to myself. Thanks for watching, etc.